always I'm Ethan.
I'm Duncan.
Wait, we're saying our names at the beginning now?
Sure.
I was kind of.
We're gonna talk about baseball. So the MLB playoffs are getting ready
like
to
2
start.
weeks away.
Who's gonna win?
Well,
Honestly, I have no idea anymore. Probably the Astros.
I'm voting the Blue Jays. Let's go.
Blue
I
Jays.
think they're eliminated from playoff contention, but
The biggest trio of teams trying to fight to make it are the Cardinals, Cubs, and Brewers, all within 5 games of each other.
Brewers. Here's the thing: is if I'm the Brewers, I don't want to make the playoffs now because
Right.
Christian Yelich is your best player. He's done for the year.
Right, so it's like if you make the playoffs,
Yeah,
There's
you're
no point.
yeah.
right? What's
without
the
your
point? You're
best
not gonna
player.
you're not gonna be the team you were last year, being a win away from the World Series.
Yeah.
You just won't be that
Yeah.
team.
Don't get me wrong. Like the Brewers, I think are still a good team. Like
Right.
they would still make the playoffs with this team. But it's why do you want to compete this year? Just go to early off season. I guess that's my opinion. Now, granted, the Cardinals don't really have anything special on their roster, like super special. They're just like they don't have like a Yelich talent. I think they're just good all around. And I'd say good, not great. You know.
So interesting storyline with the Cardinals and the Cubs is 7 out of the last 12 games of the season they have to play each other. So it's really going to come down to the play in between the two of them.
And the hardest part for the Cubs is that they're starting to lose their star players.
Left and right.
Baez and then Rizzo.
Yeah,
We just talked about that Rizzo's going to miss some time into the playoffs, so.
that's the thing. So even if like the Cubs win the division, they're gonna go into the playoffs just wounded and stuff, and they're probably gonna have to play like. Gosh, they'd be what, the Braves they would have to end up playing,
Yeah, probably the Braves.
And I think the Braves are above and beyond better than St. Louis and Chicago. It's like,
Yeah.
it's even like if you all great, you win the division, but at what price?
Yeah, exactly. Because there's even no guarantee that like Rizzo's going to be back at all this year.
Right.
Like, there's a chance he comes back, but obviously winning without arguably your second, maybe third best player, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chris Bryant, time to actually play like you did MVP season. And not the ass Chris Bryant we've seen the past couple of seasons.
I guess my thing too is though, I mean, because I could see the Cubs being the other team that just kind of want to end it early. Here's the thing: is at least the Cubs got a World Series a couple years back. You know, like the Brewers are obviously wanting to fight for a World Series, and the Cardinals would want to. I just feel like the Cubs are kind of their World Series window's closing just because of age. I think 3 of their starting pitchers are over the age of 36.
Yeah, like John Lester, who's their ace. Right, like John Lester's their ace. That should just say enough.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of old players on their team, and obviously going every 4th day in the playoffs is what a lot of starters do. It gets harder with their older pitchers for obvious reasons. They're old. They're not,
not the players they once were.
Yeah, they can't go every 4th day like they used to. So
yeah,
I think that's an interesting race there.
It's not really a race, I guess. It's more so the Athletics trying to play catch up. So they're 7.5 games back. They're playing right now, so that might change. That will change here, obviously. But do you think they have a chance at catching up against the Astros?
I don't know, because I think there's only like 12 games left on the year.
Even if there was like a significant amount of games left, I just don't. I think Houston is collectively the best team in baseball. They're my pick to win the World Series like quite easily, actually. But the thing with Oakland is actually like a really, really good team. They just have the downfall having to play one of the best assembled baseball teams ever in their same division. But like Oakland's going to be a playoff team. I don't doubt that at all. I think they could even be one of those teams that could maybe sneakily, if things go their way, you get to the ALCS or some, depending on how things go, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting because it just seems like every year the National League is the one where this always happens every year. Because I mean, they do have a lot of teams that could easily make the playoffs every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The National League just every year. Obviously, they have the NL West, which is literally 3 teams that could easily win the World Series every year. Obviously, they don't this year because they kind of fell off. But I mean, yeah, I think I agree with Noah. You just when you have to play one of the best, baseball teams ever.
Right, like that's just tough. Like
yeah.
nothing. There's like literally nothing you can do about that.
And then I guess the final race for first is between the Twins and the Indians.
8's the magic number.
The Indians are getting there, kind of.
Well, they got there 2 weeks ago. I think they closed their lead back to 2.5, or they cut the lead into 2.5.
And since then, it's been just kind of steady ever since.
But now it's been the Twins will put it back up to 5 or 6, and then they'll put it back down to 2 or 3, and then they'll go back up. So it's been kind of. We haven't lost it yet, which is really good. We haven't lost it yet since we started running away with it in July, which is good.
But I mean, you're starting to.
But the Twins are starting to pile up on their injuries, which is scary because obviously Buxton's done for the year. Michael Pineda got that 60-game suspension, which is going to hurt us. Sam Dyson might not be back for the rest of the year, which is really going to hurt their bullpen. Because Sam Dyson was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to fix everything because we traded for him from the Giants. And yeah, it's looking bad for the Twins, but the one upside is we haven't quote-unquote lost our star players yet.
Right.
We still have Kepler. We still have Nelson Cruz. We have Polanco. We have the guys that were basically the reason why we've won so many games this year.
Yeah.
Which is good. But it's just our pitching is still really shaky, especially our starters. Our starters are really starting to kind of fade away from what they were at the beginning of the year. Like I said, especially with Pineda being out. Pineda was our best pitcher post All-Star break, statistically. Luckily, Jose Barrios is starting to look like his Cy Young form. He's never won a Cy Young, obviously, but a lot of people argued he could have won a Cy Young this year had he played the entire year the way he did at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Odorizzi's playing okay, but it's just scary because Kyle Gibson, our fourth pitcher, Martin Perez, that's our number 3 and 4 guys. And that's not a good 3-4 matchup, especially with us going 4 days because Kyle they're basically the same player. They pitch 4 good innings, and after that, they let up 6 runs. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the playoffs, you need to be able to have those pitchers that aren't going to let up more than 4 runs a game. Because the Twins can easily win a game by a score of 6-4, 6-5 type of deal. But the problem is if our pitchers let up 6, 7, 8 runs, just the Twins. Obviously, the Twins are the team that can pull out 10 runs a game, but it's just they're so inconsistent at times that I think it's just really shaky with their pitching. Because that's obviously, again, Noah's, the Astros literally have probably one of the greatest starting rotations ever.
Right.
In general. I mean, they have 2 of the best pitchers of our generation on the same rotation. That's amazing.
They literally revitalized Justin Verlander's career. So it looked like Justin Verlander was just kind of all right, he's just getting old, he's done. Nope, he's probably going to be one of the favorites to win the Cy Young, and he threw a no-hitter this year. He's back to old form. And
yeah, exactly. Justin Verlander's last game, he had 11 strikeouts and 6 innings. That's.
And then it's well, do they need Zach Greinke? No, but let's just go get him anyway.
Yeah, and then you got a guy like Garrett Cole. I mean, to be honest with you, if the Astros really wanted to, they honestly probably could get away with going every 3 days if they utilize their bullpen enough, because they still have a really good bullpen.
They have but they just never really need to dive into it.
But yeah, exactly. Just never really need to go into it. So
they're still also one of the best. We talk about their pitching, but they're still one of the best hitting teams in baseball, not just in the American League, just in baseball. Period.
Yeah, Jose Altuve, obviously one of the best players in the league still.
And then they have that really good rookie who just came up, can't remember his name, Yordi Alvarez, is that his name or something like that?
Yeah.
Really good rookie.
Alvarez. Carlos Correa, George Springer, these are guys that are great players. I mean.
Yeah, I think for the Twins, if they I think a plausible goal for the Twins is if they can get to the ALCS like that's a successful. Like obviously winning the division's successful, but like if you want to be like, okay, let's take that next step to be like contenders.
Right.
Let's get to the ALCS. Let's play the New York, a team that's realistically probably just about as even as us because they both hit a lot of home runs. You know, we talk about at least we have good pitchers. The Yankees have no good pitchers right now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, like, you and I are Twins fans. We know all about the Yankees knock us out of the playoffs, you know, in our prime years. But, like, weirdly, I want to play the Yankees because I think that's our best bet to advance. But I think if we can just get to the ALCS, see what we can do against Houston, see where we measure up.
I think if we play Houston, I think a good outcome from the Twins, like, I'd be okay with it, is if we lost the series like 4-2, like if we took at least 2 games.
Yeah, exactly.
So then it shows that there is at least hope next year.
That's what I mean. Like see what the measuring stick is for you guys, and then hopefully, you know, the Polads will open up their checkbooks and actually go out and get players or re-sign some of the guys. But just something to build off of.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's, you know, it's just one of those things where the Twins probably aren't primed now for a World Series push, but like Noah said, they're definitely pennant contenders. Like they easily could make it to play the Astros, you know. So I agree with Noah. I really want to play the Yankees our first series and just, you know, see what we can do. But just sucks because it's like we're obviously unless the Yankees just hit an absurd amount of home runs, we're obviously going to finish the year as the, you know,
Bomba Squad, yeah.
The Bomba Squad. Like, we're going to be statistically the best home run hitting team in history of baseball. You know, and
so
it's
crazy.
Like, obviously, Yankees repeated what they did last year, but I just really don't see the Twins doing it again next year.
Right.
Gosh, no.
Yeah. Because obviously, you know, like I said, unless the Yankees somehow pull it out of their asses to hit, you know, 7 home runs a game for the rest of the year. And
even if like I think we talked about this last week too. Even if they did do that, the Twins would have to like significantly slow down. Like significantly slow down.
Yeah.
And like you said, Miguel Sano hit a grand slam today. Like they're still not slowing down for a while, it seems. Hopefully they can just carry it on for another month.
Yeah, like I said, 300 is probably still out of the question, but it'd be pretty cool to see how close we can get to 300.
Yeah.
But
where are they at now?
The Twins are at 287, and I didn't realize this. The Yankees are 1 home run away from the Twins.
What?
Twins are at 287. Yankees are at 286.
No.
How many games are left?
I think
12.
There's about 12.
Yeah, like
so. They can get 300. It's only 13 away.
Yeah, but we may not even. We could hit 300. The Yankees hit like 301, and then boom, they have the record.
And to be fair, if we lock up the division, it's pointless for us to play the hardest. We're probably gonna start sitting a lot more of the starters to rest
right.
up. Giving longer.
Still only one game though.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about giving up. Team USA basketball in the FIBA, whatever you call it, cup or whatever.
I said it like 2 months ago because you guys we talked about FIBA when the rosters are getting out. So it's like, it's just USA, they never get their superstars that are ever going to run away with it. So I never see it as like a super big competition.
But they've always seemed to be top 3 this year. They didn't even make top 10.
That's true.
Of course, Jason Tatum got hurt, so when you have all of your starters and then all of your backups pull out of the game, and then you have one of your better players on the team getting hurt like midway through the series, you can't win anything. But I just thought like they gave up for sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess the other thing though too is, I mean, when you look at the team, it was full of young players and it was full of guys that switched teams this year, so they're really not probably going to care. Because obviously Kemba Walker was easily the best player on the team.
Yeah.
You know, and Kemba Walker is going to be, you know, at the end of the day, for Kemba Walker, it's like, yeah, this is for the FIBA championship, but it's like, if I get hurt playing in the FIBA tournament, the Boston Celtics are going to be pissed, you know, because I just came over, signed this big contract. So if I get hurt.
And you go from Charlotte where your team was garbage, it's like, okay, well, would I rather win an NBA championship? Would I rather win a FIBA championship?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean, no disrespect on the FIBA World Cup, but like, I'd rather win an NBA title.
Yeah.
But I also kind of view it too. It's like they qualify for the Olympics, and that's when the big guns show up. LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant are probably just like, all right, boys, we'll take it from here. We'll see you in the Olympics. And then they'll win gold and everything will be fine.
And that's why I'm not like super
Right.
like upset about Team USA losing. It's because a lot of people don't realize like the other countries, honestly, they put their best players up.
Yeah,
right,
Like,
and it's great, and that's, I mean, like, they put their best players. The fact that we still put in our backups and we still managed to qualify for the Olympics, like, that just shows how
I mean, Derek
we are.
White was on Team USA. I don't even know what team Derek White plays for now.
Spurs, I believe.
Spurs.
Only because me and my buddy were making fun of it yesterday, so we looked up, like, the roster because we
Yeah.
were making fun of how bad they were. But
Chris Middleton actually, I heard, got exposed from this tournament.
Oh, no.
People
Oh,
realized
no.
that he wasn't as good as like he sought
Right.
out to be in Milwaukee.
ooh,
He was really bad during the FIBA tournament. So
well, see, that's interesting for like totally off topic. That's kind of interesting for Milwaukee now because basically now it's like, okay, well, now we know how to guard Chris Middleton, so
yeah,
we just gotta figure out a way for Giannis, and then we're good.
yeah,
But stopping Giannis is not an easy task. So
yeah.
Another guy that couldn't be stopped in the FIBA tournament was Ricky Rubio. MVP, had 20 plus points, and
it's his shining moment.
yeah. If you're not that great in the NBA, you can still be the best player for Spain.
Yeah,
So there's still hope.
I don't like Ricky Rubio, so I really don't care.
You don't like Ricky Rubio?
I don't. Oh, so this is all a personal thing. So me and my buddy, we were like 13 years old. We went to a basketball game, a T-Wolves game,
Right.
and we were like at the tunnel getting like autographs and stuff. We asked Ricky Rubio, "Hey Ricky, can you take a picture?" And he said, "Sure." And we were like getting ready for the picture, and then he just kept walking away.
What a good guy.
I know, and I was pissed and haven't liked him ever since.
I like him even more now.
He's a liar. He lies to poor kids' faces. That's how I viewed it.
Wow.
Never forgave him. But anyway, that's just my personal beef with Ricky Rubio. But good for him, I guess.
I still wish the Timberwolves would have kept Ricky Rubio.
In the grand scheme of things, I kind of wish they would have too, because he actually wasn't that bad of a player.
I'd take Rubio over Jeff Teague any day, especially at the money.
Yup.
But that's just my opinion. And then another cool fact from this is Marc Gasol became the second player ever to win a FIBA championship and an NBA championship in the same year.
Interesting. I did not know
The
that.
last person to do it was Lamar Odom.
Wow.
He won the championship with the Lakers, and then the next year he played in the FIBA tournament and won with USA.
Oh, I wonder whatever happened to him.
He did crack.
Oh, well, that
He
doesn't
Really?
do
cracked cocaine and dated a
Is he
dated a
dating
Kardashian. Actually, I
Dang.
think he was actually just hospitalized a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
for another crack-related overdose.
Oh,
He's still like,
pretty good. But
isn't he still on off
chilling.
with whatever Kardashian is?
I think so. I honestly don't know. He's super messed up.
I don't know.
Ben,
yeah.
don't take him as influence.
Something that's
Professional sport.
definitely is better than Kardashian's. WWE Clash of Champions was this weekend.
Yeah, it's more dramatic.
Yeah, it's better.
The who of
Um,
what?
Clash of Champions.
Clash. Okay.
So this is the
It's like
WWE
Clash of
pay-per-view
Clans.
where every single championship is defended. I posted my predictions on our Twitter and stuff, and I only got 2.5 wrong.
I thought it was a solid pay per view.
I thought it was a really solid pay-per-view. I liked the way that
Who's
everything
Peter?
went down. My favorite part though was definitely the ending of the show, where Bray Wyatt the Fiend attacked Seth Rollins on the stage, and then actually tonight on Raw, the Fiend, after Kane came out and saved the day, saved Seth Rollins, beat up the OC and everybody else, the Fiend came out and took down Kane, the mayor of Knox County. They were in Tennessee, at the University of Tennessee. Volunteers are doing horrible, by the way, just in case you're wondering.
They beat Chattanooga.
They did beat Chattanooga after being like favored by like 6 points.
They killed them 45-0.
They did. And, like
Good for them.
Good for you that you
them.
can beat an FCS school. Good job.
And then another thing from WWE, during the game on Sunday, it was announced during, what game was it? I think during the Vikings game, actually, that WWE was announcing their draft.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that was. I saw
What does that even mean?
it. It was breaking
Yeah,
news,
breaking
actually, if you
news.
didn't know that.
Yep. First,
They interrupted the broadcast of the game to
I
let us
loved
know
it
that,
so
it was,
much.
that after
Awesome.
Thursday night SmackDown
Tuesday
switches.
night switches to Friday,
Yeah.
not the first week. So the 10th and 11th of October, there's gonna be a new WWE draft. The WWE draft is probably my favorite part every year.
I agree. Well, they haven't done it in a couple years. Like they did
they did the Superstar Shakeup.
Right, which is not the same.
Yeah,
though.
they did the draft in 2016, and then it's been shakeup. So I'm excited.
Draft?
Yeah, so you have all the WWE wrestlers, and you have two brands. You have Raw and SmackDown, and then they're drafted.
Are they including NXT?
It hasn't been announced.
Okay.
But if you think about it, so think about like in Madden, right?
Yeah.
You can draft. There's a fantasy draft or whatever. You can draft all the players you want, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's like that, but with WWE.
Into two different franchises or whatever?
Yeah,
SmackDown?
basically. SmackDown and Raw.
Okay.
So it's like John Cena would go to one, and like The Undertaker would go to another.
Alright.
Like, they're just back and forth, back and forth.
Why is there two franchises?
Oh,
Is
because...
that a whole different thing?
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
Do they ever, like, do they do matches together or is it all separate?
Right now they are, but when it changes, the whole reason they're doing it is because SmackDown is moving to Fox Network, and Raw is on USA Network, which is NBC, and so it's like
it's going to be an actual
company.
competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one, and I think it's good too because with AEW starting up in October too, they're gonna want to get those TV ratings and whatnot. I mean, I'll tune into AEW, but I'm still loyal to WWE. So.
I mean, I think NXT is actually going to be better than AEW.
Yeah, and you know, and you're probably absolutely right. See, because I don't know if they would have the NXT guys go to the WWE draft. Cause it's like, well, now we have it on live cable television,
Right.
Competing, which by the way is so awesome and so overdue. I think because if none of you guys have watched NXT, it like beats out the pay per views. Like NXT Takeover always beats out the pay per views. They're so good.
Best shows in wrestling.
Yeah, like seriously, like some of my favorite WWE matches have come from like NXT shows.
Well, do you think that they're gonna not necessarily bring the NXT stars up, but do you think they're gonna send superstars down there to?
They're kind of doing that now. If you look at,
but
like
on a
Tyler
weekly
Breeze
basis,
and like not on a weekly basis, but if you look at guys like Tyler Breeze and Eric Young, Killian Dane.
I heard rumors that Kevin Owens.
I was hearing those rumors.
Yeah,
I would love that.
I would love that.
An Adam Cole Kevin Owens match. I would die to watch that.
It would be so good.
5 stars.
It would be.
In Japan only though. But anyways, so the WWE, it's great. But the sport that we all watch is football.
Oh, I can talk
NFL. Yeah. So, week 2.
Wait, hold on, can I say something about basketball quick? Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Delonte West, this last weekend, Delonte West was reportedly seen in Dallas homeless, dancing under a bridge.
What?
If you guys don't know who Delonte West is, there was a joke for the longest time that Delonte West was LeBron James' dad. Like, it was a total joke. Like, he's obviously not. It was the biggest joke ever. He made $15 million in NBA career, and now he's homeless. Supposedly he's homeless. He took $15 million and turned it into nothing. I thought that was pretty...
Man.
It's sad, but it's kind of funny to realize that he lost $15 million.
I don't know if that's funny at all. That's more sad.
That's more...
That's actually... It's sad. It's easily sad, but you put it in perspective. Can you feel bad for a guy that lost $15 million?
No.
Well, do you know how he lost the money?
Probably gambling and drugs.
I would say
he was very, very big into drugs during his NBA career. He got in a lot of trouble for it. So
maybe he donated money to charity. You never
donate all 15 mil.
Like
tax write-off.
Exactly. But so NFL.
Yay. The Packers and Bears game, or not the Packers, but Packers Vikings was kind of like a game of Madden, where one team wins for like the first quarter, you don't know how to stop them, and then you stop them, and then you get a bunch of bullshit 75-yard plays.
Yeah.
So frustrating. The Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Hall of Fame.
Sorry, Ben, we'll put that on pause. Well,
it's like I need my time to shine.
Then we still have 3 timeouts. We're just going to use one.
Okay. So this year it's actually going to be 20 instead of the normal 10 because it's the 100th year or whatever.
Well, I feel like I hate to say they should almost keep it this way because I feel like there's a lot of players that deserve to get in every year.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't because of obviously like fan bias, you know? Like I don't know, that's just always been my thing.
Mm-hmm. So Head and Shoulders, Troy Polamalu.
He's gonna make it.
I think he's definitely in. Reggie Wayne.
Okay, here's the thing.
But there's a chance he
that's
might not make
exactly what I was gonna say. I get on to see Reggie Wayne not making it this year, just by looking through the list.
Yeah.
Because first for the quarterbacks, Randall Cunningham I think should make it.
Yeah.
I think he easily could make it. Out of the rest of the quarterbacks, I don't think anybody else is like locked in.
Yeah. The only Boomer Esiason's not in the Hall of Fame.
No.
You put him in
I was surprised
immediately.
to see that too.
I was if you're gonna put 20 guys in this year, you gotta put Boomer Esiason in there.
But my thing is when you go down this list, I think a lot of people realize like it's good that there's 20 people this year because there's been guys that have been snubbed the last like
For
6
sure.
years.
Well, because like Randall Cunningham should be in.
How
Boomer
many years has
Esiason.
Isaac Bruce been?
I think it's been 4 years.
It's 4 years. Put him in the Hall.
Yeah.
As a Rams fan, that makes me very, very mad because he's very good. He should definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
It's funny to me for quarterbacks. I think Donovan McNabb could have made it had he not said that he was a better Eagle than Carson Wentz. I think he could have had a chance.
Oh, now you
You
think
know?
it's not going to happen because he said
Oh
that?
yeah. I think he won't get voted in because of it. At least this year. Like I think eventually he will be a Hall of Famer, but I don't think.
To be fair,
probably
he kind of
right now.
was.
I mean, as of now, he's kind of right.
He said maybe. Don't you guys remember? He said something really controversial. He said something.
It was at the time, but look at Carson Wentz right now.
Yeah.
Look at Nick Foles right now.
That's true.
You know.
Well, the Eagles lost.
Yeah, I mean, look at.
But to be fair, Donovan McNabb also went and played for the Redskins to say "fuck you" to the Eagles. Like,
Hey,
he was a Viking for a little bit too.
he was.
I don't blame him.
They linked Clay Matthews Sr. as one of the linebacker candidates. They linked Clay Matthews player card in there. So you click it goes to Clay Matthews.
So good, we're just putting him in early.
Running backs. There's a lot of fucking running backs.
Yeah, there is.
Sean Alexander should make it. He honestly should.
Yeah, he should.
Priest Holmes should make it.
Tiki Barber.
I think T.
Not
Barber
yet.
maybe. But that's the thing. The other running backs, I think there's more running backs over him. Like I said, Priest Holmes,
Herschel Walker,
Eddie George.
Herschel Walker, definitely.
Wait, Lorenzo Neal's not in the Hall of Fame?
I feel like it might be hard for fullbacks to get in, but just because you also see Mike Aslot sitting there too, so that's another
I think
fullback.
Lorenzo Neal, though.
Ernest Biner, Eddie George.
Maurice Jones-Drew, Clinton Portis. Like you guys said, Herschel Walker. I have no idea how Herschel Walker.
Yeah, I was like, how is he not in there?
Herschel Walker's, probably the 4th greatest Cowboys running back of all time.
And you'd be like, well, that's not that good. But you look at the history of the Cowboys running backs, it's
you
really
look at Tony
good.
Dorsett, obviously Emmitt Smith.
You should throw Ezekiel Elliott just to,
No, he's not.
Just for
He's not in
Just for
that
fun.
conversation yet.
Not yet, at least.
But I think if a fullback does make it, I definitely agree with Ben. I think Lorenzo Neal should be the guy to do it. He's probably the greatest running back ever.
why is Lance Briggs?
Yeah. Maurice Jones-Drew, I think that one, he could sneak in, but I feel like he's just early enough eligibility-wise where he could survive.
Yeah, they'll wait a few years for MJD.
I think that's it for running backs unless you guys see another name. Maybe Fred Taylor, just because he's
Corey Dillon.
Jacksonville's greatest running back ever.
No, Corey Dillon's pretty good. I think, not only Corey Dillon yet, but I think he will.
I'm looking at these wide receivers: Eric Bruce, Gary Clark, Donald Driver, Torrey Holt, Chad Johnson.
Yeah, the two
Right.
wide receivers from the greatest.
I know, the greatest show on turf, and none of
Greatest
them in the Hall
hunter,
of Fame!
the two wide receivers
drives
out
me
there.
nuts.
Donald Driver is one of them too.
Heinz Ward, Reggie Wayne.
Okay, Heinz Ward, I think he was first-year eligibility last year.
Yeah.
And he got beat out because of...
I think he almost made it, though.
Heinz Ward, yeah.
But he definitely should be in it.
Yeah, he should.
Chad Ochocinco should make it.
Oh yeah.
He should. Love
He
to
should
see.
just come back just so it voids it, Just
I don't think he can come back now.
he can't.
I think once you hit a certain many years after retiring, you can't unretire.
Man.
Don't quote me on that.
But I mean, he's trying to get recruited to the Dolphins. Just throw him week 16.
Sad thing is he could probably still lead the Dolphins in receiving.
That's what I'm saying. Week 16, throw him out there.
I'd watch it.
I
would definitely watch it.
I feel like it's...
Who was those on the Titans just not too long ago? Who was really old?
Andre Johnson?
Andre Johnson.
He's really good.
He went to the Colts for 3 games after that.
Yeah.
Or it was the other way around. He was on the Colts, and then he went to the Titans for 3 games.
Yeah. And he had that one blow-up game in Tennessee, then he got injured again.
I think that might be a receivers.
Yeah.
See, that's why I actually tuned in to watch that Titans game just so I could see him. It's a way.
I think Andre Johnson's arguably the best wide receiver that's not ever mentioned as the best wide receiver.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
he's the guy that a lot of people.
He was the guy that you didn't know how to cover.
Yeah, because he's 6'3".
You would go up against him and he would just be like, "My ball."
He was a big guy. He was a tight end playing wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a modern day tight end playing wide receiver back then.
Speaking of tight ends, I have no idea how Dallas Clark is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I was really
Or
surprised.
Jeremy
at-
Shockey.
Yeah.
Jeremy Shockey, I could see,
Yeah.
but Dallas Clark is just kind of a disrespect thing at that point because Dallas Clark is probably the 5th or 6th greatest receiver of all time, or tight end of all time. Sorry.
Yeah.
God, the linebacker golden.
Yeah, the defense is insane.
Yeah. it is.
Really quick, just seeing offensive lineman Tony Baselli should probably be in it. Maybe Willie Anderson, Matt Burke should be in it. Matt Burke, Steve Hutchinson,
One.
Tony
Jeff
Baselli.
Saturday.
Yeah, Tony
Jeff Saturday's
Baselli.
got to be in there.
Jeff Saturday easily should
Brian
be in it.
Waters.
Steve Wisniewski.
I think out of the offensive linemen, Jeff Saturday, Matt Burke, Steve Hutchinson
Those are
probably the 3 that deserve it the most.
I would agree.
I know a lot of people probably don't know who Matt Burke is, but he was honestly the anchor for the Vikings offensive line for like 13 years.
Steve Hutchinson was really good for the Vikings too.
Yeah,
for the
Steve
longest
Hutchinson
time.
was really good after leaving Seattle.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. I don't want to get super off topic. Do you actually know Steve Hutchinson hated the Seahawks after his tenure?
I believe it.
Because they franchise tagged him for like 6 years in a row, so he couldn't leave.
So that's like a Le'Veon Bell situation?
Yeah, they literally did it so he couldn't leave, but they didn't want to pay him, like, for a multi-year contract. So he's like, fuck you guys. I don't want to play for you anymore.
That would suck.
Yeah, it would. Anyways, yeah. The defense.
Yeah.
Just the linebackers alone.
Yeah.
Patrick Willis, first one I saw. He's locked. I think he's going in this year.
Well, I can't believe that Willie McGinnis is in already.
Sam Mills is one of my favorite linebackers of all time. He's on
Gosh, Takeo Spikes is on there
Yeah,
too.
Takeo Spikes.
I love
think
Takeo
Takeo
Spikes.
Spikes should get in. Zach Thomas is a guy that I think has honestly been nominated the last like 6 or 7 years.
Same with
Yeah.
Clay Matthews Sr. He's been there every year. He's there.
It's
Ted
just he never-
Bruschi is another part of that, like Super Bowl winning linebacker core.
But I think the biggest name on the linebackers list is Patrick Willis.
Yeah.
His
Just all
career
around.
just ended so short.
Yeah, but he honestly went out as probably the best middle linebacker in the league.
Yeah, like when he was in
When
his
he-
prime, he was.
Yeah, when he left, I mean.
I was gonna say, like,
yeah.
in history.
No.
Those two went in
'Cause,
last year.
Because Patrick Willis, it was like Patrick Willis and Ray Lewis, like as the 2 best linebackers for like 4 or 5 years, and then obviously Willis retired.
Well,
And
Locker
Ray Lewis
was in that mix too.
Yeah,
There was a day when there was like 5 really good middle linebackers in the league that just you didn't want to play against.
I remember when Clay Matthews was one of those. And then his career derailed.
Well, Clay played outside for his prime.
You know, Clay played outside most of his career.
But then they moved.
They moved
inside
him in the
and
middle.
it ruined his career.
Yeah, because we didn't have anybody. Like, we literally had nowhere on the roster middle linebacker. It's like, shit. It's too Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews is not going to cover people.
Well, because he was a pass rushing linebacker before. That was like a used term for linebackers as a simple pass rusher.
I'm having.
You see him like chase up tight end. He's like running like this.
Ben, I'm having PTSD from Madden 17.
Clay Matthews picking you off.
I'm running it back for a touchdown.
So, defensive backs, we obviously said Troy Polamalu. He's going in. He's the second greatest safety of all time.
Rodney Harrison.
Steve Atwater.
Steve Atwater's been there for a while, too.
Yeah,
Like,
I know we were
Bob
there last
Sanders.
week. He made it to like the semifinals.
I feel like the thing is that Steve Atwater's one of those like recognizable guys just because of how freak of a nature he was. Don't get me wrong, he's still a great safety. Hall of Famer, I think. But I feel like he's kind of the bottom tier of the greatest of all time on safeties.
He kind of, I think Steve Atwater has a very similar career to Cam Chancellor.
Yeah.
I would.
That's a good
I would.
comparison.
Yeah, I would agree.
Even play-wise, they're very similar players.
Yeah, they were both tall cornerback or tall safeties that were really powerful.
Yeah. You ever see the Steve Atwater, Christian Rioki?
Yeah. Yeah.
Darren Woodson's on there too.
Another one.
I think Troy Vincent could be a sneaky one.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, again, he's not, like, among the greatest cornerbacks of all time. But I remember for the Eagles, he was a good cornerback.
Then we look at punters and kickers.
Okay, Gary Anderson is probably
the best kicker not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Probably the most recognizable too.
For better or for worse, yeah, he's the most recognizable.
I don't think punters honestly will get in.
No.
When's Pat McAfee eligible?
I don't know.
Okay, to be fair, Pat McAfee will probably be. I don't know if there are any punters. If there aren't, Pat McAfee will be the first punter in the Hall of Fame.
I think there's one punter in the Hall of Fame. He was drafted he was a Raider. I can't remember his name.
I know what you're talking about.
He was drafted in the first round, actually.
It wasn't Ray Allen, though. No.
I think, was it Ray Allen?
It might have been Ray Allen. I think Ray Allen. Because he was the one where they actually had to test his balls because he was kicking them so high that they make sure he wasn't hitting them. They actually stopped.
Well, if we want to count Sammy Baugh as a punter, too, because Sammy Baugh was a quarterback.
Yeah, a lot of those early guys were also punters, but was it Ray Allen? Did you Google it?
Ray Allen?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Ray Allen, the punter for the Raiders.
When Pat McAfee gets in the Hall of Fame, though, his Hall of Fame speech
I can't wait.
is going to be so good. Can't wait.
Shout out to Pat McAfee, by the way. Have you guys watched his new show?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Is it?
His radio show
Oh, wow.
/
There
Twitter
actually is a
TV
couple
show.
punters in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, is there?
Who are they?
If this Google thing is right... Wait, actually, maybe it is one. Ray Guy.
Yeah, that's it.
Ray Guy. I think he was the first one.
Yeah, he was the Raiders guy.
Yeah.
He was drafted really high, wasn't he?
He was drafted in the first round as a punter.
Hey, if you're good enough to do that.
I mean, he's a Hall of Fame punter, so I mean, it ended up working out, I guess.
By position...
Any of these special teams guys, you see any of them getting in?
I mean, the only one that would
great
is
guys
Josh
on
Cribbs. That'd be the only one for me because like Josh Cribbs was so ridiculous.
He's like the third best return man of
Is
all
Devin
time.
Hester in the Hall of Fame, or is he eligible in a couple of years?
I don't think he's eligible yet.
I think he's eligible next year. I feel
No,
like
I think it's because did he play for like in the end there? When did he play for Seattle?
Oh yeah, he signed like a.
He played for the Falcons and the Seahawks.
it was 17.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not eligible for a couple more
Yeah, he
years.
was eligible for a
How
while.
long you forget? I thought it was
Five.
only 3.
It's
It's 5.
It's 5.
Yeah, because he was randomly actually good at wide receiver on the Falcons.
And
Yeah.
he actually, in the Seahawks played him, he brought him to the house, but he got called back for the foul.
Here's my thing: is I don't feel like it's right putting a special teams player in the Hall of Fame before Devin Hester.
That's right. That's
Like it's Devin
sure.
Hester deserves to be the first special teams player, like specifically listed for his special teams efforts, because Devin Hester is
the greatest
return man of all time. It's like not arguable.
Literally, like in older Maddens, before they like decided they were just gonna shit on him, you would just always return it to the house. Do you remember when we played Madden 10, Ben?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm only gonna score touchdowns by returning this with Devin Hester, and that's what I did.
I mean, I could see Josh Cribbs getting in for like shits and giggles. Like people be like, "Oh yeah, I remember Josh Cribbs. He was on the Browns team that made the playoffs."
But like, but if you're gonna put someone in based on just solely like special teams, like it starts with Devin. It starts with Devin Hester.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, because he was kind of like because really we don't really have a conversation about special teams guys being in the Hall if it wasn't for Devin Hester, because he was an okay receiver, but we all remember him being a special teams guy.
Exactly.
The best to do it.
He actually was a terrible receiver at the beginning of his career.
Yeah, it's like he wasn't even.
He was so bad at receiver that they tried him at corner. And then when that didn't work, they just put him back at receiver.
He was on the Bears when Cordell Patterson was on the Vikings, right?
His last season with the Bears was the first season with Patterson. Was the Vikings
Kickoffs were
first?
sucked in the NFC North.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just kicked him.
Cordell Patterson's first career touchdown was on his first career snap of his rookie year.
Wow.
On opening kickoff, he returned it for a touchdown, 107 yards.
I'll
never forget
the Packers.
I can't remember if it was against the Packers or not.
Pretty sure it was.
But yeah, I'll never forget it. Literally,
Devin
the
Hester was one of Devin Hester's longest.
very first time he ever touched a ball in the NFL.
It's funny. There's a story against it, and the Packers head coach was like, "Go on, just kick it to Devin Hester." And as they wanted to do it as like a taunt, return it to the house. One of his longest returns of his career.
That was just the one.
They wanted to show they're not afraid and just put it right to Devin Hester. It didn't work.
Never.
You gotta be afraid of talent.
Yeah.
Well,
Ben, aren't you gonna be in the Hall of Fame this year?
No, next year. I'm not.
Oh,
That's probably not eligible yet.
so week 2, going back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
Ben,
I
you can
started.
resume.
Yeah.
Packers Vikings was so frustrating. It was frustrating for Vikings fans who started nothing. It was frustrating for Packers fans who did nothing to the other 3 quarters.
Right.
Such a frustrating game to watch.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably turned the game off like 4 times. Like, I'm not going to turn it back on. And then something would actually happen. So I'd be like, all right, I'll watch it again. And then nothing happened afterwards. It was horrible.
I watched the whole thing. I watched it through.
I watched the whole thing too.
I watched the whole game. I thought it was a good football game.
I thought it was
I don't
okay
think it was
football
good.
game.
I was going to say,
I don't know if it was really good or
personally
really
think it was a
bad.
good football
Honestly.
game.
I don't know. It was close.
Well, here's my argument. The reason why it was a bad football game, it was boring football.
I feel like if I didn't like either team, I would have thought it was a good game.
It was kind of like
Probably.
the Super Bowl from this last year. Like, all the points got scored in the first quarter, obviously, by the Packers, like Ben said. So for Packers fans, it sucked. Because in the next 3 quarters, you just sat and watched the offense go 3 and out, punt the ball, or they'd go get to the 3rd down, throw a first down, then go 3 and out, and then punt the ball. Like, I don't even think they got to the red zone after the second half.
I don't think they
or the
did.
first
Yeah,
half.
well, it could. The 2 fumbles didn't help,
Yeah, exactly.
but the Vikings 4 turnovers didn't help them either.
And that's the thing, is like every time the Vikings got to the red zone to make it interesting, they turned the ball over.
Which,
Like,
kudos to the Packers defense, playing pretty good.
True.
it's funny though, because they said the Adrian Amos interception was the exact same for the Vikings game as it was the Bears game. Like, Trubisky and Cousins threw it to the back of the end zone, expecting to throw the ball to the receiver, and then because it was Amos, right?
No, it was Kevin King who picked it off the
Kevin
second
King.
time. Because it was Preston Smith picked it off the first time on a bounce,
Yeah,
and then it was Kevin King at the last second who picked
because
it up.
Kirk Cousins.
He threw it
an
like
idiot.
into like 4
What are you talking
guys.
about? Kirk Cousins.
I could pick
Okay,
that off.
well, here's the thing: is when
Hustler
if
of all
you
time.
saw the replay, Diggs was open in the middle of the end zone.
Yeah,
Kirk
but
Cousins threw it at
but
the
Kirk
end of
Cousins
the
threw
end
it
zone.
late
Yeah,
though. Like,
they
I know
threw
what
it
you're
late.
saying because he was open. But if Kirk Cousins was a good quarterback,
He
he's open.
And the worst
But he
part is,
Do you think
it was
Cousins hung out with Ryan Fitzpatrick, like in the offseason before he went to the Vikings?
Well,
I don't know.
actually,
but-
I proposed a trade that I think would be great. Is the Vikings trade Kirk Cousins for Ryan Fitzpatrick? Because then the Dolphins are guaranteed 0-16. Because Kirk Cousins is not going to win a game, obviously. If he's a terrible starter against winning teams, why not just trade him to Miami? Then you're basically guaranteed a loss every game.
So I know Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 3 picks in the Patriots game. Were 1 or 2 of those returned for touchdowns?
2.
Ryan Fitzpatrick only threw 2 picks.
He threw 3 picks.
He threw 3.
Oh no, there was 4 picks in the game.
Yeah.
What's his face? Josh Rosen threw another
1.
one for him.
So 2 of them returned for touchdowns?
No.
There wasn't? I thought it was 2.
No, no, it was 2.
Because Stephon Gilmore had 1, I know, for sure.
And Jamie Collins.
It was Stephon Gilmore had 1. Devin McCourty had, which he returned to the house. Devin McCourty had the first pick in the game, which was a flip from Stephon Gilmore. Then I thought Jamie Collins just intercepted it in midfield and returned it to like the 40 against Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then against Josh Rosen took it to the house.
Do you actually know an interesting statistic? Is the Dolphins have the worst point differential in NFL history. For the
It was
first 2
third. It was third worst
that's
in the
surprising.
middle of the Patriots game.
Yeah, and now they have
Yeah.
the worst point differential to start a season.
I mean,
for the
Ryan
first 2
Fitzpatrick threw just as many Patriot touchdowns as Brady did.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, Patriots All-Star.
Better than Tom Brady.
But a lot of these games this week,
Oof.
they're good games, but horrible officiating.
And I feel, the more I thought about it, I'm going to still let you rate and everything, but I feel like the refs are in a scenario where the rules are so ridiculous
Yeah, they
anymore,
are.
though, where it's not necessarily their fault, it's they have to call it. It's just bullshit. The rules are in place in the first place.
Right.
You know?
It's like
But
one of those, like, don't shoot the messenger sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
you're just going by what we're told. Like, it's just our job.
Yeah.
The rules suck.
But I do definitely disagree with some of the calls that
Yeah, there was-
like, easily.
Okay, so I'm gonna limit it down to 5 calls, right?
It's
That's
sad that you
false.
can even list 5. Like, that's
So
the worst part.
5 calls. I could easily list 10. I'm limiting it to 5 here. So the first one is Dalvin Cook supposedly pass interference.
I want to talk about this one because they went over the rule, and it was, by definition, by the new rules, pass interference.
On Dalvin Cook, but they didn't call a player.
They didn't call a player. That was the point.
So
If they did say Dalvin Cook, that would be textbook pass interference. Would have been not as much of a big deal, I think. Because it was pass interference, and because the new scoring play, they review it and look for that now.
Well, and that's the worst part. Is they ruled it a touchdown.
Yeah,
and then the review came in,
and they have to review it for that.
Yeah, and then they saw that Dalvin Cook had the pass interference.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just didn't think there was enough to overturn that touchdown.
Well, that's the thing is, I don't think there was enough to overturn the touchdown. Okay, because from my side, when looking at the play, that had nothing to do with Stephon Diggs catching the touchdown.
Well,
Stephon Diggs was 5 yards away, so it could have possibly
the reason was because the linebacker Dalvin Cook blocked Preston Smith was the one who tagged Diggs down at the end. He was the one who got the Diggs first. I think that's why.
But I guess still, like I said, I think it's one of those things where if the refs say Dalvin Cook did it, it changes the way that the play is handled.
Yeah.
Because if they say it's some other player and Zimmer's like, well, that's bullshit, I'm going to challenge the play, and that results in the touchdown, then changes things a lot.
Yeah.
So my second one is a no call helmet to helmet on Russell Wilson from Bud Dupree. There's a couple. I believe there's 5 helmet to helmets.
Yeah, this week
that weren't called this week. So basically, Russell Wilson, like he likes to do, he ran out to the right, was running, and Bud Dupree lowered his helmet, purposely ran right into Russell Wilson. Looking at it, I'm surprised it wasn't called at all. If you looked at the sideline, Pete Carroll was very angry at the play. Russell Wilson, it looked like he was a little confused at first. They still let him play though, so I mean,
it's fine.
He must have been fine, but
just don't let him sleep for a couple hours.
Yeah, I think it was horrible not to be called. But that's just one of them. There's a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's why that made the list. Third is roughing the passer on Bradley Chubb.
And then roughing the kicker. I don't know what they called.
Or roughing the passer or whatever for Leonard Floyd.
Unnecessary roughness is what
unnecessary roughness.
The Bradley Chubb one, I wasn't sure what happened. I thought somebody else came in late, and that's why they called it. But I'm like
Bradley Chubb, yeah. So
that was kind of soft, but
it was a horrible call. According to NFL, retired NFL officials,
we felt the fall back. Then doesn't that technically count as a?
No. So according to everybody except for the official, whatever, according to them, it wasn't. It was a clean tackle, but NFL officiating says, "Oh well, it's a mistake. It's fine. There was barely something there, and whatever." So that's why I called. But it did change the game, and that caused the problem of the Broncos obviously would have won. That was just a crazy whole last 2 minutes, anyways, with the touchdown, 2 points. Oh nope, going for the field goal, misses. Oh, back 2 points. They got it. Kickoff. But yeah.
See, at the same time, though, I honestly am not mad at Moses because the refs are just trying to do their job. The refs are giving all these rules, and they're just trying to not be yelled at because the refs always get yelled at.
But I think the problem is when they make such bad calls like that.
Well, I think that they made the judgment call in the moment, and they had to pretty much stick with it because of the new rules. And I don't know.
When you're going live speed, it sometimes just looks different than what it actually is.
It's a lot harder than you think it would be.
Well, I feel like the problem is and I could be wrong on this. I don't think you can challenge those kind of plays.
I mean, it was within 2 minutes anyways.
But it's at the end of the day, I feel like just that rule in general, that's a play that, like I said, I believe you can't challenge anyways.
Yeah.
And that is such a he said different type of call.
Right.
Just because one official sees it one way, another official could see it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, you can't challenge that play at all. Let alone, obviously, with it being in the 2 minutes, you can't anyways.
Right.
But it's one of those things where, obviously, you guys were saying, live in the moment, you just have to make the call.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's one of those things where it's so ridiculous anymore because it's such a judgment call. It is such a big judgment call that two different people could see it in totally different ways, and that's obviously the way that we all saw it.
Right.
Was it wasn't a bad hit, like it was a routine tackle, you know. So.
Also during that game, at the end of the game there, that 1 second left, I think the refs I guess they did it right there. Technically, he was calling timeout, but was the play over? He was down, but he hadn't been touched that 1 second. When he got touched, there was less than a second left, so should it have been timeout?
I think
He
the
was
whistle
able
is
to
dead.
touch it.
The person the whistle is dead. 'Cause I think I don't know. Just
They didn't ever whistle. It was just, the game was over. Nope, they called a timeout, and then he made it. Kudos to the kicker, the Bears kicker, though. 53-yard, it's game winner. You know.
Dinero Pinheiro.
I wonder what the rule is on what declaring that the play dead is, because if you can't just lay down in the middle of the field, they're gonna call the play dead. Like they're not gonna let you just run the entire clock out. But I don't know. Is it after a certain amount of seconds? Do they wait 5 seconds or something? I don't know.
Well, they couldn't have because he didn't catch the ball until there was 2 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
So it's less than a second if they called it dead. I don't know. But
could calling the timeout kill the play if the player's on the ground?
Yeah, but I didn't think the play was necessarily over.
Well, if a player's on the ground with the ball and the team calls a timeout, could that be a way to end the play?
No.
I think they have to officially end the play.
The whistles have to blow before you can call the timeout.
Speaking of whistles,
Yeah, because that's why like game-winning touchdowns, the player will run around the end zone before going in to make sure the clock expires. Because if he scores the touchdown with like a second left, you can call the timeout. And then,
but I think if he's down on the ground, they call it dead though. Like
I don't know. But
I guess I don't know on that one.
talking about whistles, the fourth one is the Saints-Rams fumble
Part
recovery.
2.
Cam Jordan, part 2 this year.
didn't see that one either.
Should have been a touchdown. They whistled it back. And then it was still declared a fumble after a challenge, but it wasn't. They didn't get the touchdown, and I think that greatly changed the outcome of the game.
I don't know.
Darn, it would have been 27-16.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
they would have had a lot different,
But I guess that's the
they
thing.
were
Is
hyped
where,
up.
I don't know. Especially without Drew Brees. Okay, if Drew Brees is still in the game,
Right.
then I
Well,
think it changes
right.
the dynamic.
Like
but,
I think the Rams. I think the Saints lost because they didn't have their star quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I think the Rams executed their offensive game plan to absolute perfection. Sean McVay is so good at that. But I think the defense looked as good as they did. Obviously they had a lucky play go their way. But for me, I was watching. It's like you can tell they're just deflated without Drew Brees.
Yeah.
He's Drew freaking Brees. You lose him, you lose a lot of your offense.
You lose him, you lose the Saints.
He's great.
You lose him, you lose the Saints.
I mean, you still have good players, but essentially, yeah.
Okay, and then my fifth was an Antonio Brown pass
I
interference no
want
call.
to see what you're talking about.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Look it up.
Antonio Brown's second touchdown.
I
thought
thought
he only had the one.
I thought he only had one, too.
it was only one. It might not have been a touchdown. It was right near the end zone. People were saying it should have been called. It wasn't even. They didn't even bat an eye. It's the Patriots. They're already up however many points. Who cares? I
But
still
by
think
God damn it, if the Patriots can get away with it, it's just more bullshit for the Patriots.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think if anybody should get that call,
It's the
it
Patriots.
should be the Patriots. But they didn't. So put a little rant there. But if it was just if it wasn't so many calls and so many different games that could have potentially changed so many different outcomes, it'd be different. But when you're having so many calls, I get the refs, they can't do too much about it with the ridiculous rule book. But I think something needs to be done to change it so the refs can do their job properly.
Yeah.
Without having all
At
this.
the end of the day, the refs should not determine a football game, and
Right.
I think it helped determine
Yeah.
at least 2 games yesterday.
But I
honestly
think
do.
you can't have the rest and not have them determine the football game. They're going to do the job. You have 2 rules, you have 1,000 rules. They're just make bad calls happen. They're just trying to do the job.
But that's the thing is bad calls do happen. But like I said, 2 games should not be decided by bad calls.
I don't know. I always try and look at it a whole game perspective. Yes, obviously, a bad call can play a huge factor. But for like a lot. I didn't get a chance to watch the full like Broncos-Bears game, but there were some bad calls in that game. But like, how many opportunities did like Denver have?
Well, because
Like, I mean, I didn't get to watch the game, but like, it's kind of things like that, Like, prime example for NFC Championship, Saints blew a 13-point lead. I'm not going to forget that. Yeah, the call was bad, but you still blew a lead.
Yeah.
There's just so many things like the Vikings don't give up 21 points in the first quarter.
Well, here's my thing. In the two games I am referring to, like, that were decided by
Yeah,
refs,
right.
was the Vikings game and the Bears-Broncos game.
Yeah.
A score of 14-16 for the Bears-Broncos game. A score of 16-21 for the Vikings-Packers game.
Well, you see,
that is one-score games, and those bad calls, like, it's different. Like you said, if you blow a 13-point lead.
Yeah,
You shouldn't let
but even in
the
like
team shouldn't let it come down to bad calls.
Exactly. Well, and the thing is with the Vikings-Packers game,
But
the reason they ended up losing is because Kirk Cousins threw a god-awful passing double
But
coverage
this
in
is
the
where
goal
my
line.
argument is the bad calls weren't just like necessarily like towards the end of the game for the Vikings-Packers game. The referees were making bad calls, at least in my opinion, starting in the third quarter, and that's where it hurt the Vikings because they had all the momentum
and I
swinging
agree.
for
I
them.
was watching the game, and it just seemed every call was going against Minnesota, but it's like because Dan Bailey missed a field goal and extra point.
Yeah,
that's a 4-point swing right there. Kirk Cousins
but
makes a bad throw.
the extra point
was from a penalty.
Was from a penalty,
right?
But it was also
right.
on Stephon Diggs. It was for taking off them, and that extra point
See,
was actually
well, yeah.
blocked. It was actually blocked.
Yeah.
So he probably wouldn't have made it anyway because it was blocked.
But still, like, he missed a field goal. The Vikings had many chances.
See, because that's the thing is when you realistically, you probably should win a game if you can shut out the Packers for 3 straight quarters.
Exactly.
Like we shut them out the complete.
Minnesota's really the better
second,
team for 3 or 4 quarters, but just that one quarter is when it ended up screwing them over.
Now, granted, like you said, the interception by Kirk Cousins, the fumble by Kirk Cousins,
Right.
Exactly. The first one got recovered by us, but the second one we lost.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like those are costly things on the quarterback alone.
And the 2 picks, the 1 pick into like 5 Packers.
But again, this is where the bad call comes in. Duncan put it number 1. Dalvin Cook's pass interference. That's not called pass interference. We score the touchdown. That becomes a 3-point game. That's a lot different than looking at it at 16-21, because then we're down 18-21.
Yeah.
So it totally changes the dynamic because then Kirk Cousins doesn't throw that back of the end zone interception because he doesn't have to force the ball. Now granted, he shouldn't have thrown it anyways. I give credit to the Packers for picking that ball off because that's really what screwed the Vikings.
The only thing about that though is he threw the bad throw on 1st and goal. They would still go for the touchdown. They still throw the ball on 1st and goal.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, the Vikings, I guess. The other part of the Vikings was in that game is Stefanski just wanted to run the ball the whole second half when we're down. Still,
it almost worked.
What's it? It almost worked.
It almost worked, but when you're down, typically when you're down 3 touchdowns, you don't focus.
Well, right.
It worked for the 3rd quarter, and in the 4th quarter they needed to bring up the passing game.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, and then the Packers got smart about it because obviously they have a good defense this year. They just stacked the box. Well, if you guys stack the box because we're going to run it, obviously.
So, I literally I saw Green Bay do that. I'm just like, where have I seen, which Vikings running back have I seen them do this for many times before?
They're used to it by now.
Exactly. They're just like, oh, geez, it's 2012 all over again. But I will say, though, Dalvin Cook can keep this up. I mean, he's going to he's going to be really good.
You mentioned Adrian Peterson, real quick tidbit. He actually moved into 5th on the all-time NFL rushing touchdown.
I think at this point
he'll be a first-year Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
He's a first-ballot Hall of Fame.
It just depends on how many more years he plays.
Yeah.
And about how many more years he beats his son.
I knew you were going to say that.
Leave Adrian Peterson alone.
At least Adrian Peterson doesn't mouth contact kiss his children.
That's true.
In the front of public.
And he was just disciplining his kid. That's all he was doing.
Well,
I mean,
okay,
a little extreme, but
so there was a lot of injuries this week.
Let's switch our topic here.
Quarterbacks Breeze and Ben.
Breeze and Roethlisberger. 6 weeks for Breeze at least.
I said Drew Brees' scenario honestly will come down to how well the Saints play the next 4 weeks. Because if it hits the 5th week of this, like saying 5 weeks from now, and they go like 2-2 or 1-3, they're gonna be like, Brees, we need you back. Like you just play through it.
Yeah. But like, let's say Teddy Bridgewater's everything they hype him up to be, and they go like 3-1, or if
if they go 3-1, I definitely can see him.
Yeah, and it's just like, hey, let's just take your time, just fully recover. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. It's gonna be like the Aaron Rodgers situation last year, last year or 2 years ago. Last year, yeah, when they were just like, shoot, we need you now because we need you to get us to the
Wasn't that 2 years?
I thought it was 2 years because I remember they were playing Carolina because Carolina was a playoff team that year. Yep, it was 2 years ago because they kind of forced Aaron Rodgers back in, and then they lost, and they were just like, okay, we're just gonna deactivate you for the rest of the year.
Yeah, because the season was in Brett Hundley's awful.
He's not good.
Brett Hundley's awful.
He's very, very bad.
He destroyed the whole season. He needed to win like 2 games of the 6 to not even lost them all.
Yeah, no, they're.
I remember they played the Saints. I couldn't. I didn't watch the whole game. I could not.
They almost gave the Browns their only win that year.
Yeah, and they won in overtime.
Yeah, it was because Randall Cobb, right? Yeah, Randall Cobb made a super nice. It was Devontae
Adams. Adams made a really good catch.
Yeah.
So another injured player. He's not really injured, but he has mono. Sam Darnold.
You're just skipping over Big Ben.
Well, he's done for the season.
He's done for the year. We already know how that's going to impact
Year?
Pittsburgh.
You guys were saying he's done for his career.
I think he's done.
Possibly.
I don't think because he was just in his throwing arm. Right, it's a bad. What was exactly the?
He's getting Tommy John surgery, which in baseball that shuts you down for whatever's left in the season you're playing in, as well as the whole next season.
Yeah, I mean,
essentially.
And it's in his throwing arm out.
And I mean, he threatens to retire every year.
Anyway. I don't know.
That's what I mean. And he was starting to retire the last couple of years, and it's just like you gotta feel like, okay, this might be the icing on the cake.
I think this is the injury that just pushes him over the edge.
I agree.
Even if he tries, he's probably gonna try to come back. He's gonna try it, and then just gonna hurt him, and he's gonna be done.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Sam Darnold's out. Trevor Siemian did something to his foot or ankle or something. He'll be out.
Sprained ankle.
So next week against who is it? The Patriots.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next week against the Patriots, it's
Luke Fall.
Luke Fall against Tom Brady.
Yeah, we that bad.
Go.
Great.
I think Patriots are gonna win.
Patriots are gonna go 3-0 by playing nobodies 2 of the 3 games.
Yeah. Love Douglas 4 touchdowns adjustment.
And then a big defensive injury would
they
be
need more
Derwin
than
James.
that, though.
And then Derwin James is back up for the Chargers. I think that's the biggest defensive injury.
Well, we can't forget to talk about on the San Francisco offense, Joe Staley.
Yeah, Joe Staley got hurt.
Yeah. He might be back later in the season, but they're not going to try to push him. They keep going. So he's a small fracture on his fibula.
Right.
It's fine.
They keep going back and forth because he's had this injury before.
Mm-hmm.
So usually it heals faster if you've had it once, apparently.
Okay.
Which that doesn't sound right, but
It should be flipped, right?
I say
Break my arm 3 times. It's not even very good.
Well,
but no, that's what the reports are saying is because he's broken it before and it's so minuscule, he could come back a little bit faster.
I suppose if your body just naturally just knows how to heal it, because it's like, oh, you injured this again? All right, let's just go to work.
But it'll be interesting to see how they do without him, because obviously Joe Staley, just a rock on the offensive line. He helps with the running game. He helps with the passing game.
There's actually talks that the Niners could trade for Trent Williamson. Just because, or Trent Williams, sorry, not Williamson. Trent Williams, because obviously Joe Staley is out for 6 to 8 weeks, type of deal, or done for the year, So he is 35. I mean, he's old enough to the point where you kind of just start looking like, maybe it's time for us to move on. Obviously, he's.
Well, they're Joe Staley. Who's the other tackle?
Trent Brown? Not Trent
Brown.
No,
isn't that Mike McGlinchey?
If they were to trade with Trent Williams and Joe Staley comes back, you could probably just put the other on their tackle spot. I mean, they're good enough tackles where it's going to obviously affect them, but I think Trent Williams can still do it. I think you could switch tackle spots and be the end of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Mike McGlinchey. But the thing is, Mike McGlinchey was a first-round pick, so do you...
And Mike McGlinchey's been playing good.
Yeah.
Well, again, Trent Williams, I think that extra piece, having another really good offensive lineman is, I think, is a great thing.
Can't hurt anybody.
But at what cost? That's the problem.
I guess.
Is it worth? And that's the thing. Is it worth trading like a 2nd or 3rd round pick for? For 1 year?
They might have to trade even a first.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously Trent Williams, when he does play, he's arguably the best tackle in football. Like, you know, like he's a top 5 tackle. You know, probably top 10 offensive lineman when he's healthy and plays. So I don't know.
And then there's a lot of trade requests. People trying to get.
Oh yeah, Mika Fitzpatrick did get traded.
Yeah, Steelers, 2020 first round pick.
Actually, there was a lot. There was a first, a fifth, and a sixth.
Switch of the fifth.
Switch of the fifth.
Yeah.
But then the sixth was included for a seventh from Pittsburgh.
So the Dolphins now have 3 first-round draft picks in 2020, 2 second-round draft picks in 2020, 2 first-round draft picks in 2021, 2 second-round in 2021, and they're projected to have 120 million cap space.
And they're not done trading.
Right.
I was and they're just gonna get more.
Yeah, like
they're
like.
Have you guys not heard of free agency part 2?
So I think
it lives in Miami.
At this point, they might as well get rid of everybody. They can rebuild that team.
It's funny because it's
honestly,
we say it like almost every week. I feel like, but this is literally almost like a game of Madden. You literally just put everybody on your trade block, and then you just wait for the responses, and you just accept all the trades.
And honestly, starting completely over, it works sometimes.
Yeah. It does. Like that's it.
Well, I feel like there's easily some pieces that the Dolphins could keep that would be great for them to have in the rebuild, like Xavier Howard. If they can keep him around, that'd be great. Josh Rosen, if they can develop him.
Those are the kind of players that are traded for picks. Like, I mean, a lot of teams blow up, and the Bears were bad a couple of years ago. They basically started over. The Rams and Eagles both did that not too long ago.
Yeah, exactly.
The
for
Eagles
example,
had a 3-game season. I think the Rams also had a 4-game season where they won.
Yeah,
they just started completely over. And look at them now. They're all 3 of them are potential playoff teams.
But they all kept some players.
Potential Super Bowl teams.
I guess the scary part is the Dolphins could get into the Browns territory because this is exactly what the Browns did for like 7 years. This was a crazy stat I saw this last week. Between 2012 and 2016, the Browns had like 18 first-round picks.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Like, and how many of them were busts? Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Seriously, like 12 of them were busts.
All of them, it seems.
I'm trying to think of one that was, I guess.
Baker?
No, this is 2012, 2016.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly the territory you don't want to get.
When was Joe Thomas drafted?
No, way before. Not in that time frame.
No, I know.
You know, I guess it's just one of those things where it's like, it's good to have youth, but when your team is literally all, like, first, second, third year guys, like, the team's going to do bad,
you just have
so
to
they look like
on...
bust, you know? Like, they just don't play up to this, them being pick time.
And, the thing is like, if you're gonna like load up on the draft picks, like if I'm all on board of like, if you're gonna go for it, just accept you're gonna be bad, go for it. These next 2 years are like, because Miami's gonna have the potential to get the first overall pick. I personally think you should wait a year so you can draft Trevor Lawrence, but I understand you're not guaranteed, because I feel like it's safe to say Miami will probably get the first overall pick this year. Like the Giants are, the Giants are bad, but not this bad.
Even if the Giants finish, like, let's say they do end up getting the first pick, it's not like they're going to take a quarterback.
Exactly, that's true. Exactly,
because obviously they got.
I honestly feel like Miami doesn't want to take a quarterback though either.
I don't feel like that. Well, because I personally think you could be okay with just developing Josh Rosen, but if you're gonna get a quarterback, I seriously say you guys just wait till Trevor Lawrence. I think he's gonna be the next big thing.
I think they shouldn't do a quarterback at all. The Browns tried it for forever.
Yeah, that's true.
But then they're like, who's going to be the best guy? They took Myles Garrett. Look how he's been.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, because what year was he drafted then? Because that might be one guy.
No, he was 17.
That was 17? Oh, yep.
No, that was 17.
Yeah, because they're like, Baker, they gave up on quarterbacks and just picked the best guy, and he was great. Like,
yeah, he was awesome.
And you can't just have a team of all 1, 2, and 3 year guys.
Exactly.
They could be amazing, and the team would just fall apart, and they all would be turned bad.
Yeah.
You put one of those guys on a well-rounded team that just needs a piece or two, amazing.
I feel like that's the biggest thing with the Mika Fitzpatrick was confusing to me is they literally just drafted him last year.
Yeah.
And this was a guy
Well,
that
Mika Fitzpatrick was also doing really well.
That's what I mean. Why don't you keep him around? Like you were saying with like Josh Rosen and stuff. Develop these guys so by the time that you have all the money, you have all these draft picks ready to go, you have 2 veterans on your team. You know,
exactly.
like
I think so, but they're also trying to trade Kenyon Drake.
Just think about the storyline there, though. If they draft Tua
Tagovailoa.
Double T.
Tua.
If they draft Tua, right, then they probably try to market Josh Rosen.
But nobody's going to trade for Josh Rosen because if they wanted him, they would have traded for him when...
Yeah, because you would think that either the Steelers would be going after Josh Rosen right now or the Jags would be going after. But Jags got Josh Dobbs and Gardner Minshew is actually playing really well. 23, 33, 212 and a touchdown. No interceptions.
In the locker room.
The Dolphins, though, traded a 3rd-round pick for Rosen, is that right? 3rd-round pick?
Yes, no.
There's no way they could get a 3rd-round pick.
At best, you're going to get as a 5th. At
I
best.
think if Rosen plays as bad as he is the rest of the season, they could maybe get a 6th for him.
Yeah, that's me because I think the reason like Miami got him because it was such a steal at the time because you're getting like a guy who was just a starter in Arizona. They were going to develop him, but for some reason they went a totally different direction with Kyler Murray. I shouldn't say for some reason. I know the reason why, but we all do. But like with Josh Rosen, it's like I seriously still think like I saw some good things with him. Yeah. It just sucks when you put him in 2 really bad situations.
Yeah.
Like not even just like we're subpar. Bad. Like Arizona was bad. Miami is really bad this year.
Yeah.
See, but I just feel like there's guys that you could easily go on the market. I feel like one player that a lot of people forget about is Paxton Lynch. Like Paxton Lynch is still only 24 years old. He's a 1st-round pick.
He was bad.
But that's a bust.
But that's the thing. But
you don't think give him a chance.
But that's exactly what.
Look at Trevor Siemian.
But I heard that he couldn't learn the playbook. That's not why they wanted to get him in there. He couldn't learn the playbook because he just couldn't figure out offense.
But what I'm trying to say is like comparison-wise, you look at
right. No,
Josh
I know what you
Rosen's
mean.
kind of in that same situation. He's never given the chance to like show.
Right. No, I know what you mean, but it's
I just think it's one of those things where I don't know. I feel like Josh Rosen is on a bus train unless somebody tries to revitalize him.
I think he definitely has a chance.
Not on the Dolphins. He needs to go somewhere else.
I feel like
if he goes to crash and burn his career. If
he goes on the rebuilding Dolphins, though, who have 3 first-round picks,
he's not gonna stick around though.
The problem is realistically, where can Josh Rosen go that's gonna make him succeed?
Exactly.
He can be a backup for Tom Brady. They all do well.
You know, and you're right. Like in theory, you're right, but Tom Brady could play for another 6 years, and then Josh Rosen's coming on.
And that's exactly where the development thing comes into play. Like, where can he realistically go? Actually play backup, but develop.
Well, because if the Patriots were gonna redevelop, like Jimmy G was their guy. Like Belichick was so high on Jimmy G, but Brady was like, no, I want him out. He's gonna threaten for my job.
Yeah. Now look at him, Jimmy G.
Well, I mean, I think Jimmy G's still a good quarterback. Yeah. You know. He has the Niners at 2-0. They've scored you were saying 70+ points in their first 2 games.
78 points.
I mean regardless of who they play, but still that's still good. But there's nowhere really I think where Josh Rosen can just go and he can maybe. I mean, and this is kind of a long shot, but maybe Minnesota if the Kirk Cousins thing just doesn't pan out. If you just accept the fact that okay, we were wrong. $84 million was not it. Maybe go and get Rosen. Maybe get him for cheap and just see what you got with him. You know, you have the team to build them.
I got another idea. In Los Angeles, there is a team whose colors are blue and yellow.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
You know what? True, Phillip Rivers. Yeah, he's on the downward.
He probably will play 2 or 3 more years.
But they signed Tyrod Taylor as their backup.
Yeah, but Tyrod Taylor is 30.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor's
but you know what I mean?
Anymore.
They don't You're not going to trade for a 3rd-round draft pick.
Well, no, but
or for a 3rd starting quarter.
Josh Rosen's contract was really dumb for a rookie contract. It's only a 3-year contract. So after this year, there's only 1 more year that he has. Fun facts. And he's actually out of guaranteed money after this year. More fun facts. go signing bonuses.
But see, even like you think quarterbacks about to retire. The Giants are investing in Daniel Jones. The Saints have Teddy Bridgewater. The Chargers have Tyrod Taylor,
who's 30.
Yeah, like I could understand the Chargers. Like I really could.
Like Tyrod's just getting old. He is now.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. Like if let's say Philip Rivers plays like 2 more years. By that time, like you guys said, like Rosen's contract's going to be expired by then. So what's the point of him signing there?
Because at least with him going like Minnesota, for example, because I'm gonna be safe to make the safe bet that they're not gonna re-sign Kirk Cousins.
Right,
Oh no,
they're not.
I hope not.
Right, you would hope not.
You hope not, Duncan. You
Yeah.
hope not.
Actually, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you'd be okay with it.
Wait. Actually, that kind of brings up another thing. We've not seen a whole lot from a Broncos rookie.
Who, Drew Lock?
Drew Lock.
Well, yeah, because
He's on
they're just...
IR.
Oh yeah,
That's true. He is.
He's hurt. You can't look at somebody who's.
Yeah, Brendan.
But
John Elway though was really bad at drafting quarterbacks.
No,
so.
he's okay. So you
Can't
want to
give us
hear?
that whole theory.
I have a whole theory about it. Right?
Okay,
He's not bad
I-
at drafting quarterbacks. He knows they're going to be busts. He wants to be the best quarterback to ever be in Denver. So he's just going to keep going. He knows.
You know what? Yeah.
That's what he does.
and that's why he builds such an insane defense.
Right,
That
so
way
he
they
can
win.
still he can still win a Super Bowl, but still be known as the best Denver QB of all time.
Right.
I mean,
Think about it. It makes sense.
And he can build brain dead offenses that don't account towards the quarterback like whatsoever.
That's
like
true.
we saw C.J. Anderson blow up
or like
that last
last
year. And that was their offense.
You know,
C.J. Anderson.
I'm trying to think though. Is like because is John Elway that kind of like an ego guy?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, then yeah,
Oh,
then I could believe it.
Honestly, I
that's
can
it.
see- Like I would feel the same way if like Joe Montana were to get an executive job in San Fran, because Joe Montana has a hard enough time with Tom Brady existing.
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's true.
like if Joe Montana were to get an executive position in San Fran would trade away Jimmy G day one of him entering and be like, get rid of him. Nick Mullins, get rid of that guy too.
Yeah,
They're too
well,
good.
the problem is, though, is I don't think like Jimmy G would have a chance to be one of because like you have Joe Montana, but you also have like Steve Young, and that's crazy. Like I think not the credibility, because obviously Joe Montana is very very good. He's one of the best to ever
Colin
do it.
Kaepernick.
Oh, I love Colin Kaepernick. He is actually a player that somebody like the Pittsburgh Steelers could try for.
I don't know.
At
I
this
don't know
point,
though because
you might as well.
He's too
It's
old
too-
and
it's-
he's been without football for 3
Well,
years.
That's
Not
what I
just
mean.
that.
It's
But even if like he could come back to football shape, I feel like his play style is so different than Big Ben's
I
play
guess
style.
that
So it
makes
could be
sense.
such a weird offense.
Well,
to choose for.
Mason Rudolph's is way different too. But the whole reason why they're able to kind of hope for this adjustment is because Juju
Well, and plus
is
Mason Rudolph's obviously been with the
Juju
team all
passed
last year.
Randy Moss. Do you see that? For
Youngest
something?
player for like 2,500 yards.
Yeah. Juju's
And
just amazing.
if
Yeah,
they
he
can
is.
get James Conner back, I mean that offense will work
Yeah.
for the season.
Mhm.
I don't think it's gonna be pretty, but it'll get the
yeah,
job done.
they're gonna win a lot of ugly like 18-14 or like 20-17 games.
Those are the best.
I mean, yeah, those are really
Well,
good. Like
that's
they're gonna
because your
yeah.
whole franchise is based off those
winning those
Dunkins.
ugly
Hey.
games.
We don't talk about that. We just talk about the wins and the
That's-
referees
you know what?
causing losses.
Well, a win's a win. You know,
I mean-
they'll never question how you
A win's
win.
a win, and a loss is always a ref's fault.
Yeah, exactly.
always the
Unless
ref's
it's
fault.
what's his Garrett Bowles, but 4 holding calls and he disagrees with all of
Is,
them.
is,
and
is,
they're
is
all
that
blatant.
is that the guy from Utah they drafted a couple years
Yeah,
ago?
the
He's
guard,
so
yeah.
bad. He's
Oh my
not good.
It's kind of funny. It's not
That
bad.
is sad.
They're so high on him in the draft.
Yeah,
Everybody
they
was high
were.
on him.
Oh yeah, he was gonna do so good,
He's
but
good
he
in
doesn't.
Madden.
He doesn't know what holding isn't. He doesn't know how to block.
Yeah, no,
He's not very good.
But we got on that whole whatever rant, whatever.
Yeah,
but
wow.
Jalen Ramsey asked for his trade today.
Yeah.
he did.
So did Taco
Oh yeah, I love
Charlton.
how we went from Mika Fitzpatrick to talking
Yeah.
about Garrett Bowles.
Right.
That was good.
Jalen Ramsey. Do you think they'll trade him this year?
Yes.
I could see them
I
not.
don't know any team that is willing to give all that much up from right now.
Here's the thing, though. The reason why I do. So there's going to be a surprise team that's going to go like 6-2 to start the year.
Right.
Like, oh shit, this could be our year. They're going to go all in on Jalen Ramsey. That'll be the one blockbuster trade like halfway through the year.
You know, and I could even see like the teams that are already Super Bowl contenders that need a guy, a la Kansas City, a la Los Angeles. We could really use
no more.
Yeah, you
need to
Actually,
leave Marcus Peters.
Okay, but no, but they have
Actually,
not
though,
performed. They have
Kansas
not
City
performed.
might be the best landing spot for Jalen Ramsey.
Shh, we don't want to hear that.
But I guess the problem with that is I feel like, and this is going to be the biggest problem, is the asking price for Jalen Ramsey is
So
going
high.
to be ridiculous.
It's
wow.
first
I mean,
round
because he is a top 3 corner easily.
He's
arguably the best.
he's a
Yeah.
top 5
But if
defensive
you
player.
think about it, if your team's like that, do you really need to rely on the draft at this point? Because like if you're Kansas City, you're set for a long time as long as Patrick Mahomes
But
is your
just with all
quarterback.
their holes though, because like their linebacker
Yeah.
core isn't very like
They need defense.
Like they need
defense.
more than just DBs, and I totally get that. I just think if you want to get in the right direction, like Jalen Ramsey would definitely help out, especially when you're going to have to play teams like New England or
There's no like big name teams that have just this unstoppable running force.
Right, because at least like for the passers, Kansas City still has Frank Clark to rush the passer.
Yeah.
They at least still have that. And then when because I'm gonna put all my chips on the table and say it's gonna be Kansas City, New England, in the AFC Championship. When you
What?
yes, I will. I'm very confident that's
now
gonna
the
be.
Chiefs against you.
Actually, I'm gonna go out on a whim. I think Kansas City's gonna win against the Ravens in the regular season, but the Ravens are gonna get a chance to play Kansas City,
And they're going to beat them and go to the Super Bowl? I love it.
and
With
play
with
them,
the Ravens
and then
for
end up
Jalen
having to
Ramsey?
play the Patriots and lose.
I'm not buying that.
Cardinals
I mean-
Ravens Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh no! Do you remember
I would
our
pay to
Super
watch
Bowl?
that.
the other
Yeah,
day?
what did we
You
play
wouldn't.
as? It was Cardinals and Cleveland, Arizona. That was our Super Bowl we played the other day.
What team is could potentially be good in these corners?
The Vikings.
The Cardinals.
I actually heard the
Vikings have
Vikings
no-
were rumored to
go get
go
Jalen
in
Ramsey.
Minka. Actually,
Oh, Minka. I even heard
Minka.
that. I actually read something today that they could go all in for Jalen Ramsey.
I've heard that too. The reason the Vikings, people are talking about the Vikings doing it is because it's such a Mike Zimmer move. Like, we need so much help
Right.
on offense. Like, our
Go
defense
for
is
defense.
So let's go get
So
defensive
you go
guys.
get-
That makes sense. That makes
You
sense.
know,
I actually heard a rumor that one of the Packers managers wanted to try to go after him too. One of the executives wanted to try.
I
Well,
mean,
I mean,
realistically, anybody would want
Literally
to.
any
Yeah.
team in the NFL would want to go after him because he can either be a part of a really good big two or he can be the guy that they need. Like Kansas City, for example, they have the Honey Badger at safety and that's it
Yeah.
for that secondary. That's it.
Well, I guess they have Kendall Fuller that they got from Washington in the.
Which Kendall Fuller's
Alex
doing
Smith.
pretty good, but
He's
like
good corner, but obviously, like you said,
he's not a shutdown corner.
Exactly.
He's like the comparison of Darrelle Revis to the Browner and Darrelle Revis years on the Patriots.
And
Browner was good, but Darrell Revis was great.
Exactly. You put Kendall Fuller on the number 2 receiver, and you just leave Jalen Ramsey to shadow the number 1 guy.
Then their defense goes from 32nd to like 15.
Because then, as Ramsey breaks on the top guy, Fuller gets better. 'Cause he's not on these bad guys anymore. Then he gets better than the whole secondary.
Then Honey Badger doesn't have to cover shadow with or with Kendall Fuller. Wait, why are we supporting the Chiefs?
I was wondering.
Go Ravens.
We want to beat
Thank
the
you.
Patriots. Though.
I was
Go
sitting here
Ravens.
wondering the same thing. I'm
Because
like,
it's annoying because I just feel like somewhere out there, Bill Belichick is just like kind of, Jalen Ramsey wants to be traded.
that'd be so
See-
funny.
Okay.
Hey, have you guys ever heard of Antonio Brown?
No.
See, but I guess my problem is I feel like the thing Bill Belichick is going to do that's going to ruin him getting the trade is he's going to be very stiff on his offers. Like, this is what we are offering you. We're not negotiating. This is what we
Right.
will
I feel
give
like
you for him. You either take it or you
I feel
don't.
like we're gonna try to push off Antonio Brown.
Yeah. See, it's like, and obviously you don't like the Patriots do not need Jalen Ramsey, but if like, why not just go for it? Like, if you're
funny.
exactly, if you're Bill Belichick's like, God, everyone hates us anyway. Like, what can we do to just really go over the edge?
Oh, they went over the edge like 4 years ago.
Well, what can we do to just really
They're climbing
solidify
back
that
up the hill.
Super Bowl? Yeah. set a new standard, I guess.
What can we do to build on this hill? How do we get a building?
So this hill's
here?
already really high. How can we make it higher? Jalen Ramsey, want to come play for the Patriots?
Yeah, we're just gonna get 10 rings.
Oh,
This is gonna happen.
I wouldn't give Kansas City a chance if Jalen Ramsey went to New England.
No, because literally the only way I give Kansas City a chance in general is if they can somehow figure out how to play defense.
I don't know. It's a discussion we had a couple weeks ago. Actually, I think Noah's the one that said it. It was somebody, maybe it wasn't. Somebody said, you score 21 points, the other team just needs to score 22. I mean, literally, the Chiefs' offense is honestly like almost to the point of greatest show on turf 2.0, because Mahomes can take over a game. Like,
yeah, he can.
They were down, wasn't it 10-0?
10-0.
10-0, and then Patrick Mahomes finishes the game with 4 touchdowns.
Oh god! But it showed the Raiders are.
I mean, the Raiders obviously
bad.
Are bad, but Mahomes can go back and score 4 touchdowns. Like that's
Like, Mahomes is crazy, but like I still don't think Raiders are a hard defense.
No, but
then what do you do to those good or bad defenses?
You
torch them. That is what Patrick Mahomes did.
Tyreek Hill is the fastest player in the league. So I mean,
John Ross, Lamar Jackson. Let's call him that.
I think it's consistent.
It's technically been this year. It's technically been Matt Breida running back for the 49ers.
Really?
Yep.
Well, if he hits
Next
the
gen
highest
stats.
mile per hour,
The last 2 years has been Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, like Tyreek Hill is the one guy. Like
But before that, the last 2 years before that, it was Brandon Cooks. Now where is he?
Dalvin Cook hit.
The Rams making good money winning games.
There was one year Dalvin Cook was the top speed on the miles per hour thing. He hit like 28 miles an hour on a breakaway.
28?
Yeah.
28 seems a little bit too high.
20 is like it's impossible.
Yeah, like
the highest ever I think is 24. Something like that. He's not,
like I know like
Odell hit 26 today, so it's possible.
Are you sure?
89-yard touchdown, I think it was. Yeah.
Here is this is what the headline: Vikings running back Dalvin Cook reached the fastest speed by a ball carrier this season. This was last year. He hit. It's 22.07.
Yeah, 22.07.
Okay.
That's fast. That's so,
I still don't. I don't trust OBJ going 26.
Yeah, it's
either way.
But you asked what are they doing now? Ethan actually wants to start a new segment, and so I'll let him introduce it.
Yeah, since we're not doing Sport of the Week anymore, it's kind of drop.
Yeah. Whose fault is that? I don't know. Where are they now?
Who they? Who that?
Where are they now, Ethan?
Where are they now? So yeah, this is basically just gonna be something that maybe we won't do it every week. Maybe it'll just be time to time thing, depending on what the news looks like for the sports. Decided to kick it off this week. My guys for this week is gonna be Keyshawn Johnson. It won't just be football players. I'll do this from every sport, baseball, basketball, whatever. But I want to do Keyshawn Johnson for the sole fact that the Arizona Cardinals have a receiver named Keyshawn Johnson. Literally no relation to Keyshawn Johnson from the late 90s. But no, I want to do him. Another reason for Keyshawn Johnson is I feel like a lot of people forget about him. Like, a lot of people. If I asked you guys what pick he was picked at, what would you say?
9.
6.
He was the first overall pick in the 1996 draft. Very first pick.
Very good play.
Obviously a receiver going that high isn't like really common. A lot of times you just don't see receivers getting drafted that high. First overall pick. You could argue he was somewhat of a bust for first overall pick. He finished his career pretty good. He had a short career. He only played 10 years. And he ended up tying 17th all-time for career receptions and 24th on the receiving list, which isn't horrible. But obviously, first overall pick aspirations,
because when I think of Keyshawn Johnson, I thought of like most of his time with the Jets. I thought of a good receiver. But I think of him more as an analyst now, a really good. He's a really good analyst, but his career was.
And that's the thing: is a first overall pick. He only lasted his rookie contract in New York.
That's
he was drafted by the Jets. He played 4 years for them. He only broke 1,000 yards twice. His rookie year, 844 yards, 8 touchdowns. Not a bad season. But then his sophomore year, he kind of slumped off a little bit. Again, for first overall pick, you're expecting this
Right.
guy to become like an all-time great. And he ended his second year with 963 yards and only 5 touchdowns. So obviously not great. I should also mention he was 6'4". He was a big receiver. Like, he was a big target, especially for the 90s. You know, there wasn't really those hybrid cornerbacks quite yet.
Yeah.
You know, the 6'2", 6'3"
You
corners.
don't got Jalen Ramsey's running around.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, then Keyshawn Johnson was traded to the Buccaneers from the Jets for 2 first-round picks. Which back then, that was a lot more common to see, like, picks moving like that. Yeah, he went to Tampa Bay. He was there again for 4 years. Then he went to Dallas, traded again. And then after he played 2 years in Dallas, he went to Carolina. He signed a 4-year deal for $14 million. Played 1 season there. He only had 815 yards and 4 touchdowns, and that was in all 16 games.
That was 11 seasons.
Well, was it?
Mm-hmm. Oh. 4 seasons with the Jets.
All right, yeah, I
4
guess.
seasons
Either way,
with the
11 seasons.
2
But for a
seasons
wide
with
receiver,
Dallas.
you know, for a wide receiver,
Although, how much does that last season really count?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, played 11 seasons as a receiver. Again, 6'4" receiver too. So it's not like he relied on his speed to really get him, you know, the receptions and stuff. You know, he could use his big frame to kind of bully cornerbacks. But after that, he retired. But a lot of teams were offering him contracts the year of his retirement. Like, everybody was like, "You can seriously come play for us. We will pay you to play." He's like, "No, I don't want to play." Even after he was retired, a full year after he retired, Bill Parcells reached out to him and was like, "Hey, we will leave a roster spot open for you all season long if you want to come play for us." And again, this is a whole year removed from football. I think he was like 35, 36 at the time. So, I mean, still at the point where he could play.
Right.
You know, he just chose simply not to. And like Noah said a couple minutes ago, like, probably more recognized as a commentator now, or not a commentator, an analyst now. So that's what he does. He's an analyst. But yeah, it's definitely one of those stories where he was kind of a bust for what he was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, like I said, 24th in receiving yards and 17th in receptions. Like, that's good. I mean, that's, you know, if you're looking through, like, all-time list for receivers or something, and you see his name, you're like, "Oh, yeah, Keyshawn Johnson, you know, I remember his name." But, you know, for a first overall pick, I mean, you know, only playing 11 years and, I don't know. So, yeah, I just want to start off with this guy simply for the fact, like I said earlier, was there's a Cardinal that is named Keyshawn Johnson. He's actually playing pretty good. So.
Literally, when I heard them say Keyshawn Johnson, I was like, wait a second.
It's actually pretty funny because every time that Keyshawn Johnson for the Cardinals gets called, like on a touchdown or something, they'll be like, "No relation to the other Keyshawn Johnson." Some other just interesting
They were joking
facts.
about it, yeah.
Yeah. Some other interesting facts about the old Keyshawn Johnson is November 2008, Johnson was contracted for a weekend TV series called Keyshawn Johnson Tackling Design, where he was an interior designer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Dancing with the Stars. He's on that too.
It lasted a year.
No.
So it really wasn't a great show, obviously. It was probably just one of those things.
Some of the best shows aren't meant to last.
Yeah, I guess so.
Think about it.
Antonio Cromartie had a TV show. I watched it.
I watched it too. It was on after.
It was a weird show, but
Yeah, it was on after wrestling.
that dude broke.
Right.
He
Poor kid.
broke.
He has his kids. I feel bad for that.
Yeah, we say Philip Rivers has a lot of kids, and Antonio
Oh.
Cromartie has like 16 children.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
He's had like 3 children after he had a vasectomy somehow.
Yeah, it's magical.
It's pretty easy to see how it happened, but
Jeez.
Antonio Cromartie just was the one to accept the fact and have
Yeah.
3 more kids.
And he's like married and stuff,
Yep.
right? Like, wow. That's crazy.
So where is he now?
He's an analyst,
For?
ESPN.
And we can see him?
I think so. I don't know. I don't watch ESPN.
You don't watch ESPN?
No, I don't.
No.
I listen to the SighSquad podcast,
Me
and
too.
I go on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook and see any of the news that SighSquad podcast is telling us.
Fantastic.
So I want a quick flashback. Earlier I was talking about how Chris Bryant needs to go back to his MVP season. I just read the ticker. He was named the National League Player of the Week this week.
Yeah, get wrecked, Brendan.
Wow. Brendan
Cubs won the
saying
World
false
Series.
information.
It's not
Imagine
false
that.
information. He's been playing trash except for this week.
But
Well,
maybe that's the start of his playoff MVP run. The Cubs win the World Series.
although Brendan was getting that wrong, he was this week's winner for getting the most games predicted right.
Ooh.
He predicted 5. Well, the rest of us, me and Noah predicted 4. And then Ethan and Ben didn't do so well.
Ben got 3. I got 2. I literally have picked 5 correct games so far.
Can I just, for a second, point out that I predicted the Packers-Vikings game 21-17 Packers, and it was 21-16 Packers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, last week was last week, so move on to this week.
I can't get a win.
No. Let's start with Thursday Night Football this Thursday. Titans-Jaguars. It's either going to be a great game or a horrible game.
I said it's going to be a shit show.
I think it's been a good game.
I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to be such a shit show where it's going to be like, hey, this game's actually kind of close and interesting. Like, I think it's going to be one of those weird... Thursday night's always like that. They're short week. It's weird.
Yeah, there's some weird bounces that can happen on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think the score's going to be, Ben?
For the Titans,
Jaguars.
I think I put 17-14 Titans. Just because I think the Titans are just that much better. I think it's a big game. I think Leonard Fournette's going to get a lot of yards. I think Derrick Henry's going to get a lot of yards. I think at the end, it's going to be the Titans just going to edge out the Jags on offense.
They're both also just kind of really solid defenses this year.
Yeah.
So,
I just think Titans are the better offense.
I personally said 17-10 Titans as well.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's just going to be another weird Thursday night game. I think Tennessee's the better team. I have 18-13 Titans.
That's some Duncan scores right there.
You tend to have, like, I don't know, just Thursday's kind of weird like that. You get a safety or missed extra point. I don't know, something like that. Something weird's going to happen.
And that's not shade, Duncan. I appreciate your interesting score.
I'm going to keep the low scores going. I predicted the lowest score, actually, on this. I predicted 10-6 Titans. Like I said, I think this is such a shit show game. I just think the Titans kind of got super hyped, and then they're going to this game, or they got super hyped the last 2 weeks. Now they're going to go into this game, and they're going to shit the bed and be like, oh.
That's right.
Well.
Mariota's our quarterback.
Yeah. And then I just think that the Titans defense will play decent, and Mishnu, is that how you say you say his name?
Minshew. Gardner Minshew.
I think he's just gonna have I think he's really gonna have a hard time on this short week, because obviously last week was his first game. Then he has to bounce back and just play a couple days later. You know, I think it's gonna be hard for him. So yeah, I said 10-6. Titans take it, even though I think it's gonna be a shit show.
So I also have Titans. We all picked Titans here, but I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's going to be 24-21 Titans.
Game-winning field goal
or they're going to
early field goal lead.
Titans are going to go for the field goal to win it. Or no, not the Titans. The Jaguars are going to go for the field goal to make it.
To tie.
To tie. They won't be able to.
They'll miss.
Jaguars going to miss.
Next, we got the Rams and the Browns. This will be our Sunday Night Football game.
I think this will be another shit show game, because the last 2 games I've predicted to be absolute shootouts in the Rams games, and then they just haven't been. I thought the Rams-Saints game this last week was seriously going to be last year's Rams-Chiefs game. Like, I honestly did. That didn't come anywhere close. Obviously, the Rams put up the points, but yeah. Like I said, I think this will be kind of a shit show. I still have the Rams winning, but I think it's only going to be 17-14 Rams.
See, I went a little bit other direction. I think the Browns are going to... It's going to start being a competitive game, but I think the Rams are just going to keep piling on, and they're just going to collapse the Browns. And that's why I put the Rams 30-14. It's going to be close. It's going to be 14-14, I think, at one point, and the Rams are going to walk away with it. The Browns aren't going to be able to keep up.
Am I next? All right. Well, since Sean McVay has been the head coach, the Rams have only lost single digit. I don't know what these are, but I know they've lost like single digit road games. Sean McVay and the Rams are very, very good on the road. I think they are straight up better than the Cleveland Browns. I think they've shown it the last 2 weeks. Yes, I realize Drew Brees is hurt against New Orleans, but I still think LA flexed their muscle. They are still really good. Aaron Donald should be okay for this week. He did have a little scare against New Orleans. I think the Rams are going to run away with it. 35-17. Rams get the win.
So I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to go with the Browns here. Their game, I know they played the Jets with the third-string quarterback, but they did decent. Odell and Baker Mayfield, when they're together and when they're on the same page, they're good. And I think we're going to see that coming in this next week. They're going to be riding on the momentum of beating the Jets, and I think that's going to cause them to win 24-21.
See, I think it's funny that you have the Browns scoring 24 in that one. I have my game as 24-14 Rams. By the way, 3 of us think the Browns are going to score 14 points. That's a random fact. But I think it's going to be... I think Cleveland's defense is actually showing to be a little bit better than a lot of people are giving them credit for. And I'm not going to just take today, obviously, because they were against a third-string quarterback. But even if you look at week 1 and stuff, Cleveland's defense has been pretty solid. They are number 1 against the pass. Interesting factoid. And I don't know. This game definitely doesn't change that because there was hardly any passing. So I think Cleveland's going to keep it close, but then obviously I think the Rams are going to just edge them out at the end, 24-14.
So for Monday Night Football, it's Redskins Bears, and I have no idea if the Redskins are good or not. And I don't think they're good, but I think this is going to be a good game because I'm not sure if the Bears are kind of like they're bad, but how bad are they? So it's kind of the same for the Redskins. You're like they might be mediocre. The Bears might turn around. The Redskins might turn around. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like the Bears aren't a bad team. It's just they're stuck with a shitty quarterback. Like, I can't say anything, but like,
hey, maybe the Bears will trade for Josh Rosen.
Maybe.
I mean,
so I put my final prediction. I did 21-17 Redskins. I think the Redskins offense is going to come alive the last little bit and just get that last score to put them ahead.
I also think the Redskins are going to be able to get that last score. Mine is 21-16. So I think the Redskins are also going to win.
I think it's going to be kind of another low-scoring defensive football game. I think I agree. Like, Washington's kind of weird because I'm like, they've been competitive in both the games that they played. I think Chicago is going to continue to kind of slowly find their stride offensively. I mean, I only have them scoring 17 points. I think they're still going to struggle, but I think that defense is still really, really good, and I think they're just a better team than Washington, so I'll pick a kind of a close game. I think Chicago will pull away late, but it'll be a 17-3 Bears victory.
See, it's funny. I kind of have the reverse of all you guys. I think it's going to be high scoring, and I think the Bears are going to pull away with this one. But I also think it's going to be in the fashion the way the Redskins have won or have lost, especially week 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Redskins go up early. I think they'll go up like 14-0 within the first quarter. And then they may score another touchdown, get to 21. But I think by that time, the Bears will maybe tied it or at least scored a touchdown, so it's not as bad. But then I think the Bears will run away with it in the second half, like the way that the Eagles did week 1 against the Redskins. I have the Bears winning 31-21. And like I said, I know that's a really high-scoring game, but I just think it's just the way that the Redskins have been playing is they go up early and then they just choke it. So, yeah, like I said, 31-21 Bears. Duh, Bears.
So you guys like the band Rush?
Yeah.
You ever heard of the long album/song? It's technically like a 7-part song, but it's an album. It's known as 2112.
Sure.
Is that what you predicted? 21-12.
2112
quite-
Chicago.
2 missed field goals.
Actually,
Sure.
one missed extra point and 2 made field goals.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's what I mean.
Alright, so my game pick of the week will be the Ravens Chiefs. I'm excited to see Lamar Jackson in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a really high scoring game. All offense, no defense at all. I think the Lamar Jackson is barely going to get the edge, just like he did in week 1.
But honestly, the
He's going to
Ravens
score
have a good
42
defense.
points. Right, 42 points. It's going to be 42-38. Patrick Mahomes will not be contained, but Lamar Jackson will be better than Patrick Mahomes in this one.
See, I also have a really high scoring game. I have 38-37, and it's going to come down to the wire, and Mahomes is just going to make it. It's going to be so close, but they take it. Lamar Jackson isn't quite ready for the shootout.
Yeah, I kind of, not the exact same score, but I have it like literally. I have it a 2-point game.
Christ, bro.
no,
Sorry, no.
you're good. I can't wait to hear Brendan's
Jesus.
thing. But I think it's gonna be such an exciting game. And if you guys remember, like the game last year between Baltimore and Kansas City, it was such an awesome game. Probably one of the best games of the year. I think we're gonna get another awesome game. And I agree with Ben. Literally, it's just because Patrick Mahomes is just really good, and he's just gonna do just enough to just edge out Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to buy into Lamar Jackson a little bit. I think he's gonna really have a good game, and then that's gonna really elevate him to that MVP conversation.
Until he gets hurt.
Well,
Is he a mobile quarterback?
I mean,
Hey, Brendan still called him a quarterback. That's better than
Yeah,
I want you
when
to
he was
call
calling him a running back.
Brendan, you up?
No, I'll go next.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I want to leave
yeah,
Brendan's
yeah,
back. I also agree with you guys. I think it's going to be an absolute high-scoring game. Crazy thing is, I actually have the Ravens kind of blowing out the Chiefs in it.
ooh,
I have the Ravens winning 42-28.
wow.
I think the Chiefs defense will not be able to stop the Ravens offense at all. But I still think Mahomes will throw 4 touchdowns.
Right.
Like, I think all the touchdowns come from Mahomes, but it's just not going to be enough. Like, the Ravens offense is literally just going to kill that Chiefs defense. Like, I don't think the Chiefs will have anything to stop Lamar Jackson.
How many touchdown passes did Lamar Jackson have?
6.
6? Oh my gosh.
6.
Love
If
it.
he has 6, oh my gosh. Like, that'd be insane. Because, like, even, like, if it's, like, oh, he's playing about defense, still, like, that'd be insane. Like, because that would put him at how many touchdowns?
That would put him at, it would be close to 20 already.
Oh my
What's your score?
gosh.
42-28.
Which one do you have throwing 6?
Lamar.
Okay, I got lost. I was like,
I said Mahomes will throw 4.
oh,
That's
wow.
where the
But Lamar's
28.
throwing 6.
Brendan, you have Mahomes throwing like 8.
Actually, he doesn't throw 8. There's field goals.
Okay.
Of course.
So the
Like
biggest
6.
the biggest dilemma I ran into is it's not realistic for us to put touchdown only scores, right? Because this is a game where 3s are also just as important as 6s.
I mean,
So
Tell that
I
to
kept
Blair Wall.
twiddling and twiddling with the numbers until I ended up with this disgusting game where it's 52-45 Kansas City.
Okay.
97 points?
okay, you know what though? I wouldn't. That seems crazy, but like the Chiefs did put up 50 plus points last year in a really awesome game.
Okay,
Start your Chiefs, Ravens players in fantasy?
I personally
you better.
don't. I'm starting Mark Andrews. Like, there's no reason not to.
I mean, I'm gonna have to start Goff this week because Big Ben's hurt, but like Jared Goff.
But no, like I realistically don't think it's actually going to be that high. But like I said, I wanted to justify like some field goals aside, trying to make my scores more and more realistic.
See, but that's my thing. I feel like this is literally the one game where field goals aren't going to count.
Yeah,
Because they're only going to throw touchdowns.
And that's what I mean, because like I agree, because there's like so many like weird, because like I was saying about Thursday night, like there's so many like weird things that just happen, like and that's really in any game as we're seeing now, like 2-point conversions, now you're good, PATs, whatever, missed, whatever, but like it's just gonna be such a shootout. Like
I personally think quarter 1 is going to be hard for the Chiefs.
You can have both teams.
I think it's going to be hard for the
I guess
Chiefs.
I guess it's like a 3-3 quarter.
My only thing is the Chiefs don't have a defense. The Chiefs don't have a defense.
The Ravens isn't good enough to slow down the Chiefs.
Right now, the
Right.
Ravens are injured, but a lot of people should be coming back from injury.
Yeah, but I still don't think they're like.
I think they can
were,
slow them for 15 minutes, and then they'll get blown over.
No, but the thing is, statistically the Ravens were the best defense last year, and the Chiefs still, were able to do good things offensively. The defense is, worse this year.
Well, wasn't there only
So
like
in
2
theory-
games where the Chiefs didn't do things offensively?
No, they literally did things offensively all year.
Yeah, 5,000 yard, 50
Right.
touchdown quarterback.
Like
shows it.
even the games that they lost, like they still even when they played like Seattle, they still put up I think 28 points. Like Seattle scored 30 points that game. So like Kansas City will still be able to put points on the
And
board.
Patriots, Kansas City was in the 40s.
Right. So
It just sucks because I predicted the Saints Rams game to be like this
And
last
then
week,
it didn't happen.
and it didn't happen. So I'm really scared
I'm
it won't
scared, yeah.
happen.
mhm.
But honestly,
I think it's gonna be such an awesome game.
I don't see a way that that's not.
but that's the thing is, I do not see anything under 3 touchdowns from each side.
Right.
Like I honestly don't.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, was it my game of the week?
Your game.
Oh, it is my game of the week. Obviously, I'm going to go with the Vikings. It's Vikings against Raiders.
Yep.
And I'm going to be very realistic with my score. I thought the Vikings offense was good last week. I don't think the Raiders offense is as good as the Vikings defense is. I do have the Vikings winning 21-10. Like I said, a very realistic score. I'm not going to go one way saying the Vikings are going to blow them out of the water and score 42 points because I don't think they will. I think Dalvin Cook gets another rushing touchdown. I think Kirk Cousins probably throws 2 touchdowns, probably an interception in there. So I definitely think that I honestly don't think it'll be a good game, but I think the Vikings still pull out the win. I think it'll be an ugly game, just like it's been the last 2 weeks. Like a lot of run. It's going to be a boring game. They're just going to slow down their offense just to make sure Kirk Cousins doesn't fuck this game up like he did last week. Like they're just going to make sure that they keep Kirk Cousins out of any kind of game-winning situation.
Well, it's funny you say that, right? So I have a 21-13 Raiders because of Kirk Cousins fucking up. So I think the first quarter is just going to be like this Packers game, right? Where the Raiders are going to take away with it, and the
You
Vikings
think they'll
aren't.
score 21 just like the Packers?
Oh, yeah. Josh Jacobs, he's a good running back.
But the Vikings' run defense is, I think, it's probably a top 5 statistically this year so far.
Yeah. Derek Carr's a
Aaron
bad
Jones
quarterback,
racked him
though.
up. Packers almost had 200 rushing yards and a touchdown.
They did?
Yeah, Aaron Jones had 120 by himself and a touchdown.
I didn't know that. Well, okay. If we exclude the first quarter, what do they have for rushing?
Aaron Jones got most of his rushing yards in the second half. In the first quarter, they were just throwing it. It was just Rodgers going.
Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers was just connecting on everything.
Yeah. So my take from this game, I'm going a little direction. The Raiders, I look at the team and I'm like, that team sucks, but they're not doing that bad.
Like
I mean, they beat the Broncos. Granted, that was not a great game for either team. And then they didn't do that bad against the Chiefs.
They were competitive for a little bit.
Like
7
this team
innings.
sucks. If you look at just the roster, they could definitely be one of the worst teams in football. But it's like.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing. And I think that they're going to win.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to know how or why, but they're going to win. 20-21.
I like it.
Were you gonna? Oh,
You got it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think the Vikes will win just because they're really good at home. But like, if Oakland went up 10-0, because I think the score is gonna be 28-10. That's my score, kind of similar to yours. But if Oakland goes up 10-0 right away, like I wouldn't be surprised by it. But I just think Minnesota will tighten up, and I don't think Kirk Cousins is. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be very limited. I think it's going to be a lot of running again. I think Dalvin Cook could easily have I think Dalvin Cook could honestly have a 3 touchdown game. That's actually what I predict. I think Dalvin Cook's going to have another really good game. And I'm pretty sure, isn't Josh Jacobs questionable? I know he got hurt.
No,
banged up.
he should be fine.
He should be
be
fine.
fine, yeah.
Okay. Then I won't take factor into that. But even with because Kansas City's defense is supposedly really bad, but Oakland only put up 10 points on them, something like that. They didn't put up that many points on them. So against Minnesota at home, I just think Minnesota will bounce back, get the win.
So I too think that the Vikings are going to win, and I too think that the Raiders will score 10 points. this is two different games where we assume the score on one side is going to be the same between three different people. Fun facts. I think it's going to be 24-10. I feel like the Vikings are only going to have rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to look very, very, very similar to the Minnesota-Atlanta game, except with less points on the board.
Yeah. What game's next?
Bengals, Bills.
Oh, that's mine.
This is going to be...
Okay, the only reason I picked this game is because I can pick, because I think the Bills are going to beat the Bengals, and then you guys realize that the Bills are 3-0.
Yeah, right?
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Well, but who do they play? They play...
No, I totally get that, but the Bills are still 3-0.
Well, they should have lost against the Jets.
A win's a win. I'm just
Well, I'm not saying like in that game, but like
yeah,
I
know.
You would have thought they would have lost against the Jets.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't think the Bills are like that great, but it's just kind of like, dang, like
Good for them.
yeah, like good for Buffalo. I'll give them the recognition. I actually think it is going to be a good game. Like Cincinnati's been really good. Like one of you guys are saying that Andy Dalton is leading the league in passing right now.
Yep, Andy Dalton is passing leader.
Like Cincinnati's not doing terrible, right? I think they're better than what their record shows. I think the Bills are going to win. What do I have here? I think the Bills are going to win.
Wait, we should double check, make sure Baker didn't pop over. I don't think he did.
Probably not.
Yeah, I have 24-20 Buffalo, and yeah, Buffalo moves to 3-0, and then it's like, oh well, okay, yeah, Buffalo might be a playoff contender.
I'm gonna check that. So
I think the Bills will take this one. Josh Allen played really great.
Yeah, he did. He's actually played really good the last couple games, honestly.
Yeah, I mean Josh Allen. I think he can be a truly great quarterback in the NFL. Obviously, he's probably one of the weirdest quarterback styles in the NFL. Actually, he's 6'6", but he runs like he's 5'10". Mm-hmm. Like it's weird. So I have the Bills taking this one 21-14. Not a super high scoring game. You know, I have a touchdown, a couple touchdowns apiece, but I just don't. I see this being like a meh game. It's a Sunday football game that if it's on, it's on.
Right, like and realistically, that's what it is. But I'm just kind of like,
I had a 21-16 Bills. I don't. It's gonna be an okay game. You'd be like, oh yeah, they did play. It's not.
I might see it. We might see a highlight on Monday of something that happened in the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, no. I just picked the game so you guys are aware that the Bills could be 3-0.
Yeah,
good for them.
Like yeah, good for Buffalo.
So I have Bills actually winning again, 28-24. I think it's going to be a decent game. I'm not expecting anything great from the game.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's going to be a game this Sunday. A decent game is better than no game at all.
Amen to that.
So, y'all put too much faith into teams that are not the Patriots in the AFC.
Yeah.
Because, like, every year those teams could easily go 2-14, and one of those teams 0-16. This year it's going to be the Dolphins go 0-16. By the way,
no, Dolphins won.
Well, they probably will.
Anyways, the Bengals have looked on fire. Their defense is actually not playing that bad, although they have gotten a little bit pushed over by the 49ers, who actually do have a lot of pieces, even with an injured Telvin Coleman and Jarek McKinnon.
McKinnon's done for the year.
Yeah.
Said Dave. I remember when he was a Viking.
But anyways, like they've looked pretty okay defensively. I mean, they held Russell Wilson to 21 points in their 21-20 game week 1, and they didn't let like a 50-point game. I feel like it's going to be last second touchdown where the Bengals put it up 23-24 and then go for 2. Something's going to happen. It's going to get called, like the play is going to get randomly stopped. It's going to be like offsides on the defense, right?
Yeah. They're
going to have to start the 2-point conversion over. And they're going to get it. 25-24. 25-24 Bengals. And John Ross continues leading the league in receiving yards.
Okay.
And Andy Dalton moves down to third because I think Kyler Murray's going to boost up this year.
Okay, legitimately though, when AJ Green comes back,
his numbers are going to significantly drop.
Well, no, but what I'm going to say is the Bengals are going to have an amazing receiving core with AJ Green,
that's
Tyler
true.
Boyd, John Ross, and Tyler Eifert, and Joe Mixon out of the backfield with Giovanni Bernard. Just saying that offense.
Yeah, I think we were talking this last week. Like Cincinnati's offense is
if their offensive line wasn't so bad, that could be a top 5 offense in the league.
Yeah,
but
they have parts of their O-line which isn't that bad.
But the problem is they
don't have tackles.
Yeah, their tackles. They literally don't have any outside protection.
So
is it my turn? No,
that's Brendan's.
I was going to ask how much do you think the Patriots are going to spank the Jets?
Nah, that bug is 4 rushing touchdowns. Jets win 42-3.
That'd be awesome.
Whoa, Ben, 3 points for the Patriots is a little high there. A little high.
He makes 1 of 4 field goals.
Oh, that's more like it.
I love that.
He does make. It's a 12-yarder, but he makes it.
Right. It's barely an extra
it
point.
Bounces off.
It
bounces in. It's a lucky bounce.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
Okay, Ben, put what you actually wrote.
I put 21-17 Patriots. I think the Jets are going to do better than you think. I don't think the Patriots are going to walk over the Jets. I think they just watched Miami get walked over, and they don't want that. I honestly think it might be competitive at the end.
Yeah. I think the Patriots kind of walk over the Jets. I don't think it's going to be like a slaughter like it was against Miami. I have the Patriots winning 21-6 because, I still think the defense holds up, and that's off of 2 field goals. I don't think that the Patriots will allow a touchdown. I think they will go 8 consecutive quarters of football without allowing a single touchdown. It'd be pretty cool. But yeah, then 21. I just feel like they don't have a reason to step on the throats of the Jets like they would Miami. It's Miami when, they go down so much in the first half. You just want to see how many points you can score against them type of deal, I think. But I just don't know. I just don't think they'll, murder the Jets like they did Miami. So, 21-6.
All right, I have 32-13 Patriots. Patriots gonna do the Patriots do. Antonio Brown. This will be the last game Antonio Brown's as a Patriot, I think.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I think all of this that's coming out about him, I think this week he'll get to play. Next week, I think because they're interviewing all these people, I think next week he'll be on the exempt list. He won't be able to play.
Rest of the year?
I think he'll be done for the Patriots at least, yep.
Oh, Patriots.
By the way, they'd only have to pay him $5 million for that.
Exactly.
But I think that, especially because they're still going to be on a third string, because it still looks like Darnold's going to be out with mono. Darnold might be out with mono until week 7.
Maybe Darnold can give Tom Brady a kiss
Hey.
and pass.
See, but Tom Brady only kisses people that he likes.
Do you like Sam Darnold?
Yeah, why wouldn't you like Sam Darnold? He makes his path to the playoffs a lot easier.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
I feel like if Sam Darnold was playing, this game would be a lot closer.
Oh, I would like to point out really quick, just before we move on, before you say your stuff. We said it at the beginning of the year. It's either gonna be the Bills or the Jets that starts really good, and it's gonna be the sneak playoff team, and the Bills are looking like it's just saying.
Anywho, I feel like that Patriots defense is looking pretty damn good. I mean, obviously they're leading the league in interceptions right now with 5, 6 on the season in 3 games. Granted, 4 of them were, or 2 games. 4 of them were against Miami.
I guess that's the thing is and that's why I said at the beginning of the episode, Miami's kind of an outlier on any team that they face this year.
But at the same time, we saw Miami, the players that were out there were trying their hardest on offense. Ryan Fitzpatrick has played the Patriots so many times.
But the Dolphins' offense is historically they are the worst offense in the first 2 games to start the season ever in the history of the NFL. In the 100 years,
100 years,
they were the worst offense to start.
Okay, but what about last year's passing leader going up against the Patriots week 1?
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. But like I said, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about like not one of the worst, the worst.
Statistically, the worst offense in the first 2 weeks of the year.
In 100 years, this is the worst offense we've ever seen on an NFL team.
But anyways, in the past 2 games, the Bills only have a total of 19 points. Or sorry, the Jets only have a total of 19 points. I think they're going to continue kind of having their low point run. And
so do I.
I really did not see much from that Jets defense tonight against Cleveland, who, I mean, they have their pieces, but, they could have easily made some plays. Realistically, as much as I love Baker Mayfield, there could have been a couple interceptions this game that were just kind of up to the Jets on actually, catching. And so I feel like the score is going to be 35-10. I feel like one of those is going to be defensive.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's New England.
It's going to be Jason McCourty.
Yeah, I think when you have your third string QB in, I think that's just a recipe for disaster when you're playing Tom Brady and the Patriots. Even if your defense is improved, they're going to be on the field probably 70% of the game, and that always favors the offense. And
it doesn't help if that offense is Tom Brady and the Patriots.
It's just
Tom Brady and 9 receivers deep.
Well, it's just and even then, just New England's just a really good football team, and the Jets are just not as good of a football team. I just think the Patriots are going to continue to dominate like they've been doing the first 2 weeks. I think it's going to be 38-13. New England gets the win.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
No. Oh, for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's next.
Yeah.
All right. Broncos, Packers. Packers 2-0. Packers playing in Lambeau. Broncos, I don't think are very good. I think the Packers defense is going to shut down Joe Flacco. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw some points. Aaron Jones is going to run some yards. We're going to clean it up and go home. I think this is not going to be an out of a game.
Pisses me off to say this, but I actually agree with you. Denver's just not a good team. Packers are 2-0. It's in Lambeau. I think the Packers are going to win 28-10. I think they're going to keep their offense going.
I said 28-7 for mine. I said 28 for 7 to 7 for mine. I think we started season 3-0.
So do I. As much as it pisses me off to say that, but
yeah.
I got to give them credit where credit's due.
I think Denver's defense is going to get a little bit to the Packers, just a little bit. I think the Packers are still going to score 17 points, but I think the real thing that's going to happen is the Packers defense is going to confuse the crap out of the Broncos. Because realistically, there's tape on the Bears defense, which is still a strong defense, like a really strong defense, so you can find their little holes. But the Packers kind of look like their players are just running in spirals and it's working. Dead ass. It looks like they walk out, do a circle, and it works.
Yeah. It does, but nobody's ever tried it.
What if we do circles? It's just they make circles in the game. Yeah, but what if we have our players run those circles? What?
I mean, they definitely wouldn't expect it, and it's working.
But 17-3, Brandon McManus gets a 56-yard field goal.
Nice.
He bounces back because he's looked a little lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with Green Bay, they've had kind of the downfall of playing some pretty good defense the first 2 weeks. Obviously Denver's 0-2, but their defense is still kind of. I mean, the first game of the year was kind of ugly, and their defense kept them in against Chicago. I think it's going to be a lot like Minnesota. I think Green Bay is going to get off to a hot start. I think they're going to cool off, but I think that Packers defense is going to get 5 sacks, 3 turnovers. I think it's going to be kind of a weird game. I'm going to alter my score. I think it's going to be I'm going to say 24-7. I think the Packers get the win, all because of their defense. I think they're going to be just killer, and they're going to continue this tear that they're in.
All right. So I'm going to be a little different than all of you guys. Right. I think the Broncos defense, Broncos defense are going to show up. Phil Lindsay is going to be the running back that can't be contained by the Packers.
Really?
So I think Philip Lindsay's going to get 2 touchdowns. The third touchdown is going to be a pick 6.
Oh.
Chris Harris Jr.
Rodgers hasn't thrown a pick 6
Not Chris Harris Jr. It's going to be It's going to be a Von Miller pick 6.
I don't think Rodgers has thrown a pick 6 since 2015.
No, Rodgers is a good quarterback. That's why it's going to be.
Rogers only threw 2 picks all of last
That's
year.
going to be the highlight reel. It's going to be that pick 6.
It's going to be specifically like knocked out of somebody's hands into the hands of the defender. So that's like the only way Rodgers can throw a pig.
24-21 Broncos and a shocker that nobody's going to expect.
Upset. So wait, you have the. Just want to check. Oh, you have the Rays running. So Packers still top of the NFC North for you after this week.
Yep.
Okay. Wait, I just realized you and Ben think the Vikings start 1-2. Interesting.
That is interesting.
But that's it for this week's pick. As always, you can look on our Instagram.
They'll be out
Leading up to the game, you'll be able to see
Go Wonder Bread Car.
picked it. Go for Wonder Bread Car. Go Pat McAfee.
From
Whatever else you want to say. Let's end this episode with
Mount Rushmore.
quick Mount Rushmore this week. Players.
Who are not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. They can be active, they can be retired, they can be whatever.
Yes. I can start with my list. I had Adrian Peterson as my first guy. Obviously, like we said earlier, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Greatest running back of our generation. Easily a top 10 running back all time. Second guy is Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee's the GOAT. He's the greatest. He's the best of all time. He could still play in the NFL today. He'd probably be the best kicker or best punter in the league. He'd probably be better than most kickers, too. Third guy I have is Andre Johnson, just because I love Andre Johnson. And he's one of the more underrated receivers all time, like I said earlier. My last guy is Michael Vick. Michael Vick might be the one guy on my list that might not make it in the NFL Hall of Fame, just because his criminal background kind of hurts him. Then he just wasn't like the greatest quarterback ever, by name talent. He was obviously, it's Michael Vick, you know who he is right away. But obviously for what he was supposed to be, he didn't really get to the numbers that he should have. So that was my fourth guy. I hope he makes it. Like I said, he's probably the one guy who probably won't make it. So yeah, recap: Adrian Peterson, Pat McAfee, Andre Johnson, Michael Vick.
All right, so my 4 are a lot of Colts actually. Pat McAfee, greatest of all time. Anything he does, he makes it better. Peyton Manning, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. My favorite quarterback of all time. Peyton Manning. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
It was hard to limit my list, by the way.
It's definitely hard to limit mine. Drew Brees, another guaranteed Hall of Famer. One of the greatest of all time. Obviously.
Most overrated quarterback of all time. Don't know.
I disagree. And then Adam Vinatieri, South Dakota. I don't know what's going on with him right now. He
didn't retire today.
He didn't retire today. He's wanting to retire. But the Colts are really trying to keep him on for the rest of the season, so I'm putting him on my list.
So I feel like with that, the Colts don't want to see 2 big retirements, even though he's sucking right now. They just don't want to see 2 big retirements in the same year.
But I mean, when you're, what is he now? 46 years old.
He's old. He looks old. He looks like a grandpa.
So,
all right, let's rattle these up.
I'm going to go. So, you said active players.
Yeah,
we talked about Aaron Rodgers a little bit. I'm going to put him on my list.
Okay.
Best career pass running all time. 5,500 pass attempts, only 2 pick sixes his entire career. He's had 80 interceptions over 14 seasons. He's statistically one of the greatest of all times. He plays like one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I think those stats are going to get you in the Hall of Fame.
Sam Mills is one of my favorite linebackers of all time. He's been up for contention for a long time. He played on a great New Orleans defense. He played for the Panthers. I think just because for all he's done on and off field as a coach, as a player, I think his whole career deserves to be honored as a Hall of Fame. One of the other guys I wanted to mention too was obviously Pat McAfee is God.
I love it.
Steve Smith Sr. I know.
I like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
He's someone that he's obviously not eligible yet because he's retired a couple years ago. I think he also had a really great career, kind of the same underdog story, came from nothing, and one of my favorite players of all time.
All right. As a personal thing, I'm going to, of course, have Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, just as a Rams fan. They were 2 very important pieces to the greatest show on turf. They're Probably one of the best. When you look back at it, they're like one of the best wide receiver duos in NFL history. I have them in there. Of course, I'll give my shout out to Pat McAfee. I'm not gonna put him on the Mount Rushmore just because everyone else does. But I am gonna give my shout out to Pat McAfee. Okay.
Pablo.
Okay, yeah, Pat.
If you don't put Pat McAfee on this Mount Rushmore,
You're right. Okay.
We're gonna be more upset with you.
Oh, more upset. Ooh. I know I'm like more upset. Ugh. Okay, Pat McAfee, my Mount Rushmore, because I mean Pat McAfee is awesome. He's hilarious. But and then kind of what you were saying about Michael Vick, I'm gonna go with a player that probably won't ever get in the Hall of Fame, but he was just so fun to watch. Do you guys remember Steve the Air McNair?
Wow. Ooh, rest in peace.
Yeah, super fun player to watch. He was like when I was like growing up, like just getting into football. He was one of my favorite QBs to watch. I thought he was awesome, and like I said, yeah, rest in peace. He was super fun. I think he's awesome. So I'll put him in my Mount Rushmore for that. So.
Is it me turn?
Yes, yeah, Brendan, it's you.
Brendan.
All right, Pat McAfee, because Pat McAfee's God has been said. Andre Johnson, because he was literally my favorite wide receiver growing up, and that didn't change. And I still wish I could see Andre Johnson play. You gotta give it to Tim Tebow.
God damn, I was gonna put Tebow on there, but I was like, realistic odds, like some football analysts would be insulted if you actually like.
Right.
Okay, but but see the thing about Tim
College
Tebow,
Football Hall of Fame, maybe.
The thing about Tim Tebow,
well, definitely College Football Hall of Fame.
The thing about Tim Tebow is he is the storyline player, because he came in and they're like, wow, this is going to be just like the rest of the quarterbacks. We're going to do next to nothing. Then Tim Tebow, I'm going to randomly link like 2 good plays, okay? 2 good plays. But then I'm going to show you that I'm a running back playing quarterback.
Well, I think that was Tebow's reason for not succeeding in the NFL. I'm sorry, we're trying to finish this up. But because I remember he refused to play tight end for the Broncos.
Yep.
It's like, I'm not playing tight end for
you
guys.
Yep.
Because I'm a quarterback.
Because I'm a quarterback.
And the Patriots tried to
run it
use
every
him.
time.
The Patriots tried to talk him into tight end too. They're like the Patriot way. That's why he didn't last long in camp. But besides the point, my last player is William the Fridge Perry.
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Really? I thought he was in the Hall of Fame.
Other than that one, he only had one really dominant season, and that one play, his wrestling career was like 4 or 5 years. It was not very good.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure
he had a short career.
I think he is.
It was a short and not very like. Other than like, he's famous for that.
I just looked it up. I didn't see anything on it.
Huh.
I have a backup if you fact check me.
All right, that's this week's episode. Justin?